2025 was an interesting year for movies. You have many incredible pieces of art that restored my love for movies and going to the theater. Then you have some rather terrible movies that you just watch with some friends or completely skip over. There were so many movies that I was really excited to see this year, so I'd like to share with you every single movie and a few shows that I saw this year. I will exclusively be talking about movies and shows that were released this year with one exception, so I won't be including movies I saw for the first time this year like The Bike Riders, Flow, Phantasm, Lost Boys, and Prisoners. As much as I want to talk about them, we would be here for years. That being said, there will also be very minimal editing with this, so I can actually get this out by the end of the year. Also, I will be going in chronological order of release, not by how much I like the movie, because I'll get convoluted very quickly, though I will do a ranking at the end. Alright, enough preface, let's get the show on the road.
I think I'd be a wolf. I think so too.
January Blumhouse release. I think that's all you really need to know about this. Blumhouse has had a very shaky reputation in the last couple of years. There have been some really good ones like The Black Phone, and then last year, 2024, we had a holy trinity of just dog shit. And The Wolfman, it was a January release, a January Blumhouse horror release, which that bodes not well whatsoever. So, is it good? Is it enjoyable? It was okay. This is a film done by Leigh Whannell, who I mostly know in my mind as one of the guys that did the original Saw movie and also played Adam in the movie. I was excited for Wolfman because I was promised body horror. I was promised a wolf body horror in the big old year of 2025, and it had some ideas going for it. And I like a lot of the sequences, specifically the sequences where we see things from the main guy's perspective as he's becoming a wolf. But other than that, for me at least, it's a very mediocre movie. Again, this is all my opinion. You're welcome to have your own opinions. I'm not your dad. But this movie just didn't do it for me. I think for me, the main two things about this movie that I wasn't a big fan of was, one, I didn't believe the relationship between the main two characters. I could not believe that they were a couple, let alone a married couple. I understand that they were going through some troubles as a married couple. However, I don't believe that they are together in any sort of way. And if your entire movie is going to be based around that struggle, I think you kind of screwed up there. And the other one is how the wolf is portrayed, the Wolfman. My personal favorite Wolfman design is from the Van Helsing movie with Hugh Jackman. I think that is peak right there. I think that is incredible. And this movie, it tries to go a little more body horror, try to go for the literal wolf man instead of the werewolf. And I can admire that. However, I just wasn't a big fan of it. It's not really my kind of werewolf. All around, it had things going for it, but it was ultimately kind of mediocre. Which, it is, ironically, a step up above the previous January Blumhouse releases, but it's still, unfortunately, very disappointing. I'm a real boy! Do you ever watch a trailer and think to yourself, I have no idea what the hell is happening, but I want to see this movie as soon as it comes out? That was Companion for me. I had no idea what was going on, but I was there. Between the actors and just what they were showing on screen, I was there for it. I love Sophie Thatcher, I love Jack Quaid. Lucas Gage kind of scares me because he looks like a Mormon youth pastor with Scientologist teeth, but he's cool. He's cool. He was really good to Smile too, and he's cool. I like him. Companion follows Iris, who goes to an isolated cabin with her boyfriend, Jack Quaid, and their friends, and shit very quickly hits the fan when she, quote-unquote accidentally, kills a man and unfurls the plot that her boyfriend had set up. It's a dark comedy with some, frankly, gnarly kills, and incredible performances from everyone involved. I feel like this one kinda got swept under the rug over the year, which makes sense. It did come out, I believe, at the end of January. There were far bigger projects that came out, especially in April, but it was a very pleasant surprise of a movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't think there's a single aspect that I didn't really like about the movie. Sure, I can nitpick, but all around, I love the movie. If you like thrillers, like The Menu, that have a little bit of social commentary to it, but also have a good dark comedy element to it, this is for you. Nothing really more to say about it. Fantastic movie. Give it a watch.
Kiss, kiss for love.
One of the many movies I saw for the first time this year was Happy Death Day. I thought it was predictable and kinda cringy, which makes sense given the year it came out, but it was an overall fun movie. I generally enjoyed it. I kinda really hated the sequel, though I don't know if that's a hot take, I think it is, but I couldn't stand the sequel. And earlier this year, Christopher Landon put his work into a new slasher called Hard Eyes. Wasn't excited for it, it looked alright at best, no strong opinions on it. I picked it up from the library on DVD, and to my surprise, it was actually kinda really good. I'm not a fan of rom-coms. I like Legally Blonde, and that's the only thing I can think of. Romance movies just aren't my thing whatsoever. Especially rom-coms, I can't. But somehow it works in this movie, which is, again, a slasher. The relationship of the main two characters is so fun to see blossom, and the comedy somehow works. The slasher side of things is a tad underwhelming, could have had a little more screen time, but it's fun nonetheless. I wish there could have been just a little more slasher in the first hour of the movie, just a tiny bit more. But ultimately I can live without it because of just how fun and enjoyable the rom-com side of it is. The real issue a lot of people have with the movie is with its twist ending, quote unquote. I don't know if I want to call it twist ending. Spoilers here. Skip ahead if you don't want the spoilers. It turns out that there are 3 separate killers, a couple, and then a completely unrelated guy. And the extra drizzle on top is that with the couple, who the main character faces off against in the very end, the reason they killed is because it was their kink, it was their fetish. That's it. I wouldn't have minded as much if it just wasn't so over the top, but I can understand why it turned some people off of the movie. It's just strange, and it felt like it was just there for last, kind of just forced in there at the last second, like, oh, okay, well, people aren't going to like the fact that we just have a random ass guy as a slasher. Let's throw this in there. Let's use those red herrings and just cram it in there. I don't know, it just had a weird vibe to it. Wasn't a big fan of that. Other than that, it was a very enjoyable holiday slasher. Inevitably, it's going to be compared to My Bloody Valentine, the OG Valentine's Day holiday slasher. And I'm going to be brutally honest here, I think I like Hard Eyes just a little bit more. I prefer the kills and the slasher design in My Bloody Valentine, but I had an overall better experience watching Hard Eyes. If the two movies had some sort of weird fusion dance to balance each other's flaws out, it would be fucking amazing. The Hard Eyes plot with the creativity of the brutal kills and slasher design from My Bloody Valentine, how awesome would that be? Overall, Hard Eyes is a pretty darn good slasher flick, and I'm curious on if it gets a sequel, because if so, I might enjoy it.
Miska, Muska, Mickey Mouse!
I don't like the voice Robert Pattinson does in this. I really, really, really don't. He sounds like the actually meme. Oh my god, it's so fucking annoying. He sounds like Beavis and Butthead combined somehow, with a little bit of Dale Gribble thrown into there. And the weird threesome that he did with himself and Naomi Ackie was something I had to bear witness to in the theater. Other than that, it was a pretty interesting movie. It's one of those long movies where you can definitely feel that it's a long movie. Mickey 17 is a sci-fi comedy about a man named Mickey who sells himself off to be an expendable, which means he can basically respawn but is considered replaceable because of it, which is where a lot of the comedy comes from. He falls in love, there's the female sheer grubs from Pikmin that look like those little chiral bugs from Death Stranding. Mark Ruffalo is basically the mayor from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Toni Collette steals the spotlight whenever she's on screen, as she should. There's a lot of stuff happening here, and there is a general plot and everything kinda comes together, but it just doesn't feel really fluid in its execution. There's so many side plots that it feels more like situations that are interconnected rather than just fully advancing the plot. Such as the scandal with Naomi Ackie banging Robert Pattinson 17 and 18, I think? Despite there being a celibacy law. It makes sense in the long run, but it just all feels stitched together like it should have been a TV show rather than a movie. It's good. I do enjoy it. Kinda, mostly. But it does have a bit of jank to it, and it definitely feels like a long, over 2 hour long movie. Oh, wait, no, I got it. I got another one. It feels almost like a straight-to-streaming movie rather than a theatrical release. Again, based on vibes, I have no evidence to back it up here. But if you watch the movie, I think you will understand. It should have been a TV show. And if they do a TV show of it, I will not be opposed. I would probably watch it.
You want to get out of here? Get rid of that monkey!
Oh, good grief, this movie was something. I'm not familiar with the Stephen King short story that this is based off of, but as a film, it's janky. It's so janky. It's fun, don't get me wrong, especially if you have friends, but good lord, it is ridiculous. The plot is basically Final Destination, but the premonitions are replaced with this evil-ass monkey who plays the drums right before somebody dies. Interesting plot, I like the premise, and frankly this monkey scared me for basically all my life. But the movie, it doesn't take itself seriously no matter how hard it tries to, but not in a fun way, it's just annoying. It's a comedy, but none of the jokes really ever land, and there's so many scenes that could have used another take. I'm pretty sure every single shot in this movie was the very first take. On the horror side of things, I never really felt any tension when it came to the monkey or the kills. The kills are very largely CGI, horrible CGI by modern standards at that, and it's just not entertaining or makes sense. It's just body parts flying around for most of the time. There's this one kill, I don't know if you want to consider it a spoiler or not, but it is shown in the trailer, kind of, mostly. There's a girl that jumps into an electrified pool, and, you know, if somebody jumps into an electrified body of water, one might assume they just zap, bleh, dead. But in this, she explodes into a million pieces. I don't understand it. That's a lot of this movie. Pretty much all the kills in this movie are just body parts going all the way across the room when it makes no logistical sense for them to. And they aren't even fun kills. None of the shots even linger to make it more squeamish or anything like that. Just, I don't know, didn't like it. Between that and just how unlikable both the protagonists and antagonists are, it just was fucking unbearable most of the time. It was really difficult to really immerse myself into this movie, but it damn well was a fun bad movie to watch with some friends. The worst sin a horror movie can do is be boring, and it certainly was not boring. But oh my god, it was still bad.
What are you on? The autism spectrum, jackass!
Oh boy, the movie where autism is literally a superpower, and yet is still less offensive than other autism-centered movies. I'm looking at you, Sia. Swinging from the chandelier, more like swinging a fucking mess. Jesus Christ, that movie was not great. Not great. We're not going to talk about that, though. The Accountant it's very much a dad movie. It's very much a dad action movie. How do I know this? My dad, who likes action movies, said, you need to watch these immediately. I'm like, okay, you know, sure, why not? So I watched the first one, enjoyed it. Second one, it focuses a little more on the relationship between the brothers, to where it feels like the overall plot kind of takes a back seat, to where it almost feels like we went from 0 to 100 really quickly. But it's still an enjoyable movie because of Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal's relationship. It's interesting, I like the comedy of it, but it definitely is more of a comedy than the previous movie. So if you like the previous movie, I can understand why you're not the biggest fan of this, because it does take a different direction, and it came out like, what, 8 years? 8 years? I don't know, a lot of years after the first movie came out. So I can understand, but at the same time, I personally enjoyed it. Speaking of dad action, Novocaine, a Jack Quaid double feature. I love this movie. I think this movie is so much fun. But the one thing I can't stand about this movie, and I hate to say it because the guy seems really nice, the guy that plays Ned from Spider-Man, I don't know his name. Nobody knows his name. He's just Ned from Spider-Man. I hated his comedy. I hated his presence in the movie. It was so out of place, so forced. Hated it. Rest of the movie, I loved. Very simple plot, Jack Quaid plays a guy that cannot feel pain, and he's just this meek little bank accountant. He falls in love with a girl, and then the girl gets kidnapped in a bank robbery, and he says, okay, this is really, really stupid, but I'm gonna go save her. The twist at the, not really end, but there's a twist in there that I did enjoy. And also, this has Ray Nicholson. I have a conspiracy theory that Jack Nicholson, there was no woman involved. There was no coitus. It was just Jack Nicholson performing mitosis. He split himself in half, and that kid, that Ray Nicholson right there, that's just a double Jack Nicholson. They're so much alike. If you ask me, hey, who does this guy look like? I'd say, did they like digitally upgrade young Jack Nicholson? What the fuck is this? Who are you? It's Ray Nicholson. He's a damn good actor. I loved him in Smile 2. I wish we had more of him in that. And he does have quite a lot of screen time, or at least more than I expected in this movie. Loved it. It was great. I love it. As a big Jack Nicholson fan, I love Ray Nicholson as well. And the other performances, fantastic, except for, again, Ned from Spider-Man. What's his fucking name? Hold on, let me... He can't be just known as Ned from Spider-Man. Give me 1 second. Jacob Batalon, that's his name. Batalon? B-A-T-A-L-O-N. That guy. Yep. That's Ned from Spider-Man. I'm sorry, That's all I know him for, I'm sorry.
I am placing blocks and shit cause I'm in the fucking Minecraft.
Chat, I may have kind of come around on this movie since I made my review of it. I still hate everything it stands for and the precedent it sets for the future of filmmaking, especially kids' movies. But it's kind of funny. I rewatched it when it went to streaming, and I had a good time with it. Especially since this time around, I went into it knowing that it was done by Jared Hess, who did Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre. You could see me crashing the fuck out. It was an experience. And I had fun in the theater. My friend and I, we lost our shit. And here, it's still stupid, but I love fun by movies, and the Minecraft movie is just something to behold on that front. There's Old Man Yowie, there's Jared Hess voicing General Chungus saying, I'm going to unalive you now. Jarring visual effects, which, the visual effects, I don't know if I mentioned this in my original video, but they are really, really good. They are objectively very well done. But it's just so jarring in the whole grand scheme of things. And there's actually decent cameos and tributes to Minecraft YouTubers, especially the Technoblade one. That one was really sweet. Oh yeah, and here Ryan mentioned, holy shit, this is peak. All my critiques generally stay the same, that this is a well-intentioned but ultimately bland movie. And even well-intentioned, I'm kinda on the fence about, because you can definitely tell they were kind of trying to TikTok clip farm. Which again is part of that whole precedent that I'm scared of. And again, the experience was so fun. My friend and I, we got dressed up, we had the Minecraft meal at McDonald's, and we were genuinely excited. Again, granted, we crashed out, but it was fun. The Minecraft movie was a disaster, and here's a friend to corroborate. Say your piece.
So, I want to start off by saying that there was Old Man Yowie. And, reflecting on it almost, a year? No, it hasn't been a year. That was April. I'm bad with time. I don't know if everyone can tell. Hi. Anyways, it came out a few months ago, and my opinion has changed somewhat. But let me give you a quick rundown of what my original thought of it was. Oh my god, how can that movie exist? It is I was sitting in the car afterwards thinking, why did I watch this? Why? I was losing brain cells. I don't have many to start, and I just lost a few more of them. This is where we're at. Anyways, looking back, it's an okay movie. I like the references. And yeah, Old Man Yowie. But yeah, that was my initial reaction to it.
The Ku Klux Klan! Oh no!
What is there to say about this movie that has not been said already? It's the movie of the year, or maybe F1 is. I didn't see it. I'm not into cars that much. I like the Cars movies, but I'm not into racing or anything like that. Sinners is a period piece surrounding the American South in the 1930s with vampires and an ode to the blues. The I Lied to You sequence is probably the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in the theaters. Even rewatching it on streaming just sends chills down my spine. Other songs in the movie like Pale Pale Moon, Rocky Road to Dublin are absolute fucking bangers as well. The movie isn't just about the music or the cinematics, it's a cultural piece. There's genuinely not a single flaw I can think of. Some people say that the movie's a little too slow, to which I say, fuck you, fix your attention span. I don't know. Genuinely every aspect is perfect in my book. Whether you like historical pieces, music, horror, pretty much anything that can make a movie good, give Sinners a shot.
It is hot as hell in this funky ass, hot ass room I'm in. Is that the Grim Reaper?
I was genuinely not expecting to love this movie. In fact, I think this might be my favorite Final Destination movie, dare I say. The first one's great, but this one fucking rocks. It's been like 16 years since the last Final Destination movie, The Final Destination, and it was coming out the same year as The Legacy. I Know What You Did Last Summer, so in my head I kinda imagined they were going to be the same deal, and boy was I wrong! Final Destination Bloodlines is such a fun movie that uses its cinematography perfectly when it comes to anticipating the kills. Every single shot builds suspense as you're trying to figure out what's going to be part of Death's design. And the presence of logs is deeply unsettling all throughout the movie. I mean, we saw that in Final Destination 2, and it's referenced all throughout the movie, and you're just thinking, when's it going to pay off? And it fucking pays off. The kills are fun, the humor is surprisingly decent, which I very rarely see in Legacy sequels, like the Halloween trilogy. And seeing how Death's design is modified and works this time around is a really nice change of pace. I'm quite a fan of how it not only goes after people who should have died, but their families, it's the whole plot of the movie, but I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a great little twist, I say that again, as if it's not the whole plot of the movie. It adds anticipation on who was going to go out next. Very fun, enjoyable movie. And again, probably my favorite Final Destination movie. Over the years, I've grown very tired of A24's shenanigans. Just their bullshit. A lot of their films just seem to serve as pretentious art pieces that my Neanderthal brain can't really grasp half the time. I love a lot of movies that have come from the studio, such as Saint Maud, The Florida Project, and all of Robert Eggers' films, Bones and All, Hereditary, and recently with Bring Her Back. However, there is such an air of snottiness when it comes to their movies and its fan base that just really gets under my skin. Forgive me if I don't want to watch a movie with the vaguely put together metaphors in 6 minutes of CGI self-impreg. God! And they get spit on for saying that it's pretentious and just a nonsense fest. Elevated horror pisses me off. Anyway, Bring Her Back is an example of a very artsy movie that doesn't have to call me poor, stupid, and uncreative all in the same sentence. It's a beautifully grim movie about grief and desperation. I don't think I've been so effectively disturbed in the theaters before, at least at this point in time. There's another movie later on this list that just, oh god. Yes, Terrifier 3 did shock me with its gore and general terrifierness, but this movie hits something on an emotional level. People are getting tired of grief and trauma films, to which I say nay. Keep making them. It's a very important subject to tackle in some way or another, and this film does it incredibly well. While a kid chomping down on a knife was fucking nasty, and the effects for it are incredible, but just ugh. It was the grief held by the main cast that really ate away at me during the entire runtime. You sympathize for the villain, but pray the kids don't get hurt. It's a beautiful movie in its cinematography, but utterly gut-wrenching in its performance and how it plays out. Somehow, I did not feel utterly empty at the end of the movie despite it being so fucking bleak. If you have the stomach for it, give Bring Her Back a watch. A lot of people did not like the ending, saying it was a bit of a cop-out, anticlimactic, whatever. And personally, I think it's the best ending that they could have gone for without it being like La Mesita del Comedor levels of depressing. Ever since I watched La Mesita del Comedor, I've been comparing it a lot to Bring Her Back, because they're both incredibly incredibly bleak films about trauma and grief and just the loss of a child. And at least with Bring Her Back, I didn't feel utterly disgusting afterwards. And I think if they went that length for Bring Her Back, more people would dislike it. But that's just my opinion. Also, can you tell me any other movie that has come out in the year of our Lord 2025 that played Freaks by Timmy Trumpet? No, you cannot. 10 out of 10 movie.
If it makes you feel any better, your death is for a very noble cause.
What do you want with Tucker's kid anyway? What? How did we get here? What? What's wrong with you? With me? What's happening?
In the last year or so, we've had a revitalization of two horror franchises, Alien and Predator. With Alien, we had Romulus, which I fucking loved, and recently with Alien Earth. And with Predator, we have Killer of Killers, and on the horizon as of recording this, Badlands. Predator Killer of Killers is an animated anthology movie with 3 stories that overarch into one big finale. It's a really interesting animated movie. I adore the art style. It is just gorgeous to look at. The fights are awesome, and the stories in each section are so different, but they fit perfectly within the narrative of Predator. I just love how beautiful it is, especially the samurai segment. I love it so much, but I will say some of the humor with the World War II section, I forgot the guy's name, it did get on my nerves just a tiny bit. It felt like Marvel humor, which I grew up with Marvel movies. I have seen every single movie through Endgame multiple times, except for Captain Marvel. I think I've only watched that once. And Thor the Dark World, I do not care for Thor the Dark World whatsoever. But the comedy in it, quote unquote, just wasn't really my thing. I like the message of it, that you can use brains over brawn, but the comedy just didn't really land for me. And some might say that the final act is a bit anticlimactic, to which I say, maybe a smidgen. It's not the most, again, going back to Marvel, it's not like Infinity War. We just met these people, and it's not the most flashy thing ever, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love seeing these characters, divided by time and language, come together. The cliffhanger ending, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to another movie, another anthology movie, or maybe it's setting up Badlands. Again, I don't know as of recording this. I'm recording this at the very end of September, but I'm really excited to see what they do with the Predator franchise from here. So I've had a little bit of time to reflect on Jurassic World Rebirth, and it was alright. It was okay. It's a solid 6.5, maybe 7 on a good day. Could have been better, could have been worse. I had a decent experience, but they could have done so much more, and there's still a lot of things that kind of pissed me off. Though I will say, it's better than Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, which the bar is below hell. It is in the center of the earth. So, make of that what you will. The movie feels like a rehash of Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, borrowing major elements from both films, which I do appreciate that it went more toward the park movies rather than the world movies. It still has a Jurassic World feel to it, but they didn't have Claire, they didn't have Owen, they didn't have any of that stuff, so I mean, I'll take what I can get. I was getting really tired of their shtick, and oh my god, the raptor calm down hand, I can't stand the hand. I'm done with the hand. Be gone. I don't think I mentioned this in my initial review of it, but I really, really love how the dinosaurs just acted like animals. They were actually acting like animals rather than just killing machines. And they look really good, which, considering the budget, I hope so. They look fantastic. They acted fantastic. The dinosaurs were amazing. I just wish there were more of them. And I feel like they're doing something with the Aqualops. What was her name? Debbie? Susie? Something like that. I feel like they were trying to do something with her, or just make her like the next Baby Groot, which I don't know why we're still on that trend. Baby Groot is long dead. Not dead, but you know what I mean. And another big point of contention where the film really suffers, in my opinion, is with the mutants. They should have gone all or nothing when it came to the mutants, and yet they went right in the middle. The Mutadon and the D-Rex were just another encounter. Not even like a boss battle, just another encounter. I don't mind the existence of the mutants, I really don't. I think it adds an interesting layer to things, but I think among all the mutants from the World franchise, it's not the best, because it's the most underdeveloped. Though they weren't the laser pointer ones in Dominion where they got all funky and you had to watch like the animated series or one of the animated series for that. I don't know, it's weird. And the whole premise of how the D-Rex got out and why everything went kaput is because of a product placement Snickers wrapper got into a vent shaft and destroyed the entire system, which I'm still wondering how they didn't have lockdown protocols. I don't know, it's fucking ridiculous. I did enjoy a lot of elements of it, but there are just about the same amount of things that kind of piss me off. If you want my review of it, I did a solo video on that. I do have some evolved thoughts on it. Like, I don't really like the family anymore. I appreciate what they were trying to do with it, but they definitely could have gone more with it, just like everything else in this movie. It's a perfectly acceptable summer blockbuster, better than the previous installments, which again, the bar's in hell, but it's not the greatest movie.
What's he gonna do? Oh!
He's pulling his cock out!
I don't know.
Alright, I gotta say the thing. Okay. Okay. 28 years later, more like 28 inches later. This movie takes the cake for the most amount of wieners and wiener sizes I have seen in a single sitting. I'm pretty sure I would have seen less penises if I went to a nude beach. Hell, I probably would have seen less if I just scrolled on Pornhub for an hour. Why was Alpha hung like a damn horse? It went down to his knees! Why did it fucking focus on it during the train scene? Ugh, okay. Anyway, it was a decent movie. I thought it was generally pretty good. I definitely much prefer the first 28 Days Later, but I really did like the journey that the boy and the mom went in on this movie. Which feels like a hot take, unfortunately. I've seen that a lot of people prefer the first like 45 minutes, which I didn't really like. But when the boy and the mom are out and then they meet Ralph Fiennes, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Voldemort, Victor Quartermain, guy from Menu. Hey, 2 Menu mentions in one video. They don't like that at all. And for me, that's the best part of the movie because of the emotion. All of that is just so beautiful. I didn't care for Eric, the Swedish guy. Didn't care from one bit. I understand what they were trying to do with him, but I didn't like it. I didn't like his character. I'm sorry. If you sim for him, I gotta question you. I'm sorry. I keep seeing edits of him, and I'm just like, why? Why? But then again, people sim for Franco Barbies, so why am I even asking? I feel like when it comes to the first portion, they were trying to be artsy, but they didn't fully commit. And we'll talk about another movie later on that went artsy and fully committed, and I believe that that really benefited that film. But here, I see what they're trying to do, but they didn't go far enough. The cinematography is fun, but it felt very inconsistent with the rest of the movie. Again, once it got to the journey with the kid and the mom, I don't remember their names, that is when I was invested. It is very well done. I love it. I don't hate the first portion with Aaron Taylor Johnson. There's a lot of good stuff there. However, I prefer the relationship with the boy and the mother. I don't like seeing all the penises, but you know, this story was good. My favorite zombie movie, and yes, I'm counting this as a zombie movie, okay? Oh, they're infected. It's zombies, they're zombies. They're basically zombies, okay? It's a zombie movie. My favorite zombie movie is Train to Busan, which I got parts of from portions of this movie, again, with the relationship between the boy and the mom, but also with the discussions of humanity and connections with family. I love good zombie carnage like in Zombieland, but it's truly elevated in my eyes when you have that human connection, like with The Last of Us. It just really tugged on my heartstrings. But I need to mention it, spoiler here again, but I kind of think everybody needs to know that this exists whether or not you've seen the movie. If you want to see the movie, if you don't, you need to know this exists. This happens in like the last 2 minutes of the film. Throughout the movie, we get hints about a cult on the loose. And it comes to a head in the final couple minutes, where Jack O'Connell, fucking Remick from Sinners, pops out with the tiara and sweatpants and all that, while his goons do some literal Power Ranger shit against the infected. It makes no damn sense other than to set up a sequel, and it's a tone shift to say at the very least. This movie reminds me so much of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, where it's a good movie. I like a lot of aspects of it. There's some where I'm not the biggest fan of it, and I still prefer the original stuff. But I really, really don't like how they are sequel baiting. I hate sequel baiting so much, unless it's earned like in Sonic 3 or Terrifier 3. It just gets on my nerves. If you're into zombie movies, or if you're a fan of 20 Days Later, or just want a fun summer blockbuster with brutality and heart, give it a shot. It's not a masterpiece, being a little bit overhyped and over the months that it was going to come out, but it's a good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Girls, hi, Bobby.
The movie that took the internet by storm instantly. This movie is a love letter to Kpop with that beautiful Sony animation that they do sometimes out of nowhere. I like it. It's fun, beautiful to see and hear. It's just a fun little movie. And all my problems with it stem from one issue, just one central thing that happened to the movie. It was originally supposed to be significantly longer, like double the runtime. But they cut out so much of the movie to the point where everything feels incredibly rushed. The character development, the scenes, literally everything about this movie is so rushed, so contrived, because they cut so much out of it. It's genuinely infuriating that this happened, because with what we have, it's really, really good, and with how popular it was, they could have made this like a 4-episode miniseries, and everybody would have eaten it up. I would have ate it all up. It's a very engaging story, very, very fun story. I really, really like it. That's my main issue with the movie, because it's, again, the stem of all the problems. But there's still so much to enjoy here. It tackles identity, culture, pop culture, and family in a very flashy musical. And the music, oh god, it took me back to my little K-pop phase. I didn't have the biggest K-pop phase. I wasn't like ARMY or Blink or Stay or anything like that. But I listened to a little bit of K-pop back in my day. Who could have thought the Gen Z weird kid had a K-pop phase fork found in the goddamn kitchen? If there's a director's cut of this, it's like 3.5, 4 hours long. I will totally watch it. But for now, it's just a fun animated movie that is hopefully getting a sequel that I will revisit from time to time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Also, my favorite song is a tie between Golden and Your Idol. They're so fucking good.
She's bald! She's bald and she's torturing people who have hair!
Superman? More like super woke. Is that why the movie's controversial? Because Superman is comic accurate by being a good guy, literally saving a squirrel because he cares about all life. That's woke, I guess. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. I grew up reading comics and watching Marvel movies almost every single day, if not every single day. I still have so many Venom comics, and I think I have some Harley Quinn, Spider-Man, a bunch of other comics that I have, and I would go to the library so often to get comics. I can still quote half of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies to this day. My focus was always on Marvel, never DC. My introduction to the DC universe was with Man of Steel, which I hated. I hated it so much. Now, granted, I was forced to watch it against my will, and I didn't like it one bit because of that factor, and my great uncle would not let me get up and watch something else. But anyway, that's beside the point. I'm pretty sure Man of Steel was one of the 3 movies that gave me critical thought because I disliked it so much. I always lean more towards Batman, so I'm generally unfamiliar when it comes to Superman outside of the DCEU Snyder movies. And fuck you, Zack Snyder. This movie was great. When I saw the trailers for the new Superman movie, I wasn't particularly excited. I thought, oh, we're just doing another Superman movie. Whatever, it looks predictable, mediocre at best. But once it came out, it got an incredibly positive reception from a lot of superhero fans. Then there was the vocal minority, where people who watched it, or even just looked at it, said it was woke, super woke, because, again, we have a comic accurate Superman Clark Kent that we saw depicted in the 1978 film with Christopher Reeve that is considered the best Superman film, where he literally saved a cat from a tree in that movie. I fear we've lost the plot here. This is one of the best comic book movies I have seen in a long time. It healed a part of my childhood that was commercialized and beaten beyond death by Marvel Studios post-Endgame. I have not been excited for a Marvel movie in years. The last one I can really think of is Spider-Man No Way Home, and even then, it kind of let me down. The DCEU was a flop. God, was it a fucking flop. I'm still having nightmares about The Flash. And there just is a general superhero cynicism nowadays that was definitely accelerated by the release of The Boys and Invincible. I heard that Thunderbolts was really good, but I have not seen it, nor do I really want to catch up with the MCU to understand what's going on there. But Superman is such a joy. James Gunn fundamentally understands the character, and David Cornsweet plays him spectacularly. Everyone's performance is stunning in this. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor had me skeptical at first because, not to give him the Robert Pattinson treatment, but I'm kind of familiar with him as What's-His-Face in Warm Bodies. But then I remembered, he was Thomas Hutter in the recent Nosferatu movie, which I fucking adore because I am a Robert Eggers dick rider. God, he did such a good job as that freaky bald man. Granted, the last Lex Luthor we had was Jesse Eisenberg. Oh god. Even with like the Gene Hackman Lex Luthor, that just, it didn't really ring to me. My biggest complaint about this movie, it does not lie with the story, doesn't lie with the characters, doesn't rely on any of that stuff. It is all the close-ups. Like, so many close-ups, and so up close, that it reminds me of M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender. Back the camera away for a second. I know it was a stylistic choice to make it look like it's straight out of a comic, where they do that a lot in comics. Even when I do my own comics, there's a lot of close-ups to the face. But oh my god, just a foot away. A foot and a half away. Please. I've watched this movie a couple times, and god, I love it every single time. It's so much fun. Also, it's not just Superman and Lex that are great. It's like, it's Lois Lane, it's Jimmy Olsen, it's Guy Gardner, it's Mr. Goddamn Terrific. I love that guy. He's so cool. There's so many great characters in this. The soundtrack is stunning. Everything about this movie. It just reminds me why I love superhero movies. I went on a superhero binge not too long after I rewatched it when it went to streaming. I watched the original Christopher Reeve Superman movie, I rewatched the Spider-Man movies, I watched some, Phase 1 Marvel movies, like Iron Man and all that stuff. It reminds me why I love superheroes, and what kind of superheroes specifically I like. I like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, I like the Clark Kent, I like the superheroes that you can be in your daily life. And I hope that more people can really appreciate this movie. Even if it does have some flaws and nitpicks, it's still just a beautiful, fun superhero movie. Oh god, speaking of divisive movies, Happy Gilmore 2. Jesus Christ. Some said it was a worthy sequel. It's kind of small amount of people that said that. Others said it spat in the face of the Adam Sandler classic, which I kind of fucking agree with. As someone with very little nostalgia for the original Happy Gilmore, which I only saw recently, I feel that my opinion on this is far less strong than somebody who grew up with it. That being said, I understand both sides, especially the negative side, which I'm leaning more towards. This is not a spoiler, it happens in the first 90 seconds of the movie, but Happy's wife dies. Not just that, but it was Happy that accidentally killed her on Mother's Day while golfing, and that's most of the movie. He delves deep into alcoholism and grief while trying to earn money for his daughter's ballet school. The movie doesn't seem to take the weight of the subject matter seriously. It also undid basically everything the first movie did, especially with Grandma's house. All of it just down the drain. And the cameos, God, the cameos, oh my god. It makes sense why there's a lot of golf cameos. It's a fucking golf movie, they did that in the first one. But Travis Kelce? Travis motherfucking Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs. The fucking Taylor Swift team. God. He's a shit actor and I don't like seeing his face on or off the field. Go Ravens, by the way. It was very all over the place tonally, and I just didn't really like that. But it's not all negatives. I thought the interactions with Happy and Shooter Gavin were fun. There were a few jokes that landed, but it's just a strange movie. With all the cameos, like, there's a whole side plot with Eric Andre and Margaret Qualley, and I forgot the other guy. Happy Gilmore is relearning how to do golf with them, and it's just... didn't like that. It feels like an SNL skit about Happy Gilmore. Wasn't a fan, definitely will not watch again. Though Carl Gallagher from Shameless is in this, and that was probably the highlight of the movie for me.
That's my purse! I don't know you!
I wanted to do an entire video just on this back when it came out, but I was just too tired and I got busy. My favorite TV show of all time is Mike Judge's King of the Hill. I grew up with it, I've rewatched it endlessly, I watch it pretty much every single day. I adore the show with every fiber of my being. So when I heard about the revival coming to Hulu over the years, I got worried. Other sitcoms I grew up on had gotten revivals or late seasons or whatever you want to call them, and they were bad. They were so fucking bad. Like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Roseanne. Oh god, they were so bad. Fuller House wasn't awful, but there were a lot of very, very questionable decisions made. Not only with that reputation, but with multiple voice actors passing away, including Brittany Murphy, Tom Petty, Johnny Hardwick, Chuck Mangione, and most unjustifiably, Jonathan Joss. I was very worried about it. Come August, my friend and I sat down late at night and binged all 10 episodes of season 14. And it did not let down whatsoever. We were laughing our fucking asses off. We were hysterical. We were just reflecting on not only the show but ourselves, and just fell in love with how good it was. The only not perfect episode is the first episode, which is mostly just exposition. My other complaint about it is just how short it was. It's only like, what, 12 episodes, maybe? That's kind of the only major complaint that I have. I do have some minor nitpicks, two to be precise. One, the animation bugged me a lot. When I saw the trailers. It reminded me more of Metalocalypse than King of the Hill, even when they made the full switch to digital animation in later seasons. But it did grow to not mind it at all when the episodes went on. My other nitpick was the voice acting of two particular characters, Dale and Con. Dale's legacy actor, Johnny Hardwick, was one of the voice actors that recently passed away, unfortunately. So Toby Huss, who did the voice of Con in the original series, did some voice work for the character as well. I wasn't the biggest fan of either performances, if I'm going to be completely honest. It felt flat, and Huss's voice just sounded so much like Con's, as much as it pains me to say. Then Con's new voice actor is not bad, but it just feels... it's very different for me, so that's probably the main reason I'm not a big fan of it. It just feels so different from the original. Again, they're just personal nitpicks and they don't completely ruin the experience, it's just very strange for me. It feels true to the canon of the original series, as though we watched the characters grow up. Just like Hank and Peggy, we moved out of Ireland and now we're coming back to something radically different. And yet we feel somehow right back at home. King of the Hill is something special in the world of adult animated comedies, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to season 15. And please give us more episodes. Please! I need more episodes. I'm begging you. Don't just do 12 episodes. I can't live off of that.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Okay, so this movie has required me to do a lot of sitting and thinking, because when I first watched this, I was confused, to say the least. My entire train of thought during the movie was, what the fuck is happening? I like it, I'm here for it, but what are we doing here? I'm confused. So I forgot the structure barbarian, that Weapons has an extremely similar structure. I have no idea what it's about, and I still have no idea what it's about. It might be a commentary on school shootings, mass tragedy, or just a fun supernatural movie. Who knows? There's a lot of symbolism, there's a lot of deep things to it. So it could be this, could be that. Zach Krager, please help me out here. Weapons had one of the best movie marketing campaigns of the year, and of course had Zach Krager's name to it, so naturally a lot of people, including me, my friend, were very intrigued. This movie is absolutely a slow burn. If Barbarian and Prisoners had a baby, it would be Weapons. At 2:17 a.m., an entire classroom, save for one boy, ran from their homes and vanished into the night. We follow 6 different perspectives through the movie as the pieces begin to fall into place. I'll admit I wasn't the most invested in the first half hour-ish. I had no clue where we were going, or how we were going to get there, and when it was going to answer questions, and even throughout the movie it didn't answer a lot of questions. But once it hit, I was fully invested. I was so here. I can theorize why they did certain things, but then it leaves me with even more questions. A question I was left to ponder was, again, is this a metaphor on school shootings? My friend brought it up, and I had that vibe through the movie, especially with the seemingly random floating dream gun from Archer's storyline. The feelings of guilt and anger over unexplainably senseless action, and the shot of an empty classroom, and Justine entering only to see Alex. As an American who has to see on the news almost every single day about another school shooting, it definitely hit. It's a real fear of mine and a lot of other Americans and children. So it makes sense why that kind of went to the forefront for us. Maybe that's not the intention, maybe it is. But there is a good amount of dark comedy with the movie, and it really alleviated some of the really intense moments. The theater was laughing so much through the entire movie, I was losing my goddamn mind. It was just a very fun experience. Also, I did not expect a Justin Long cameo. Hell yeah. I love the mystery, and its thrilling sequences are a phenomenal watch, but Lord Almighty, it did take me a minute to get invested. I do really like the movie, but it's one that I need to watch a couple times in order to fully appreciate it. I can totally understand why many people are underwhelmed by the movie. Lord knows I felt that at a few points. But personally, I think it's a really interesting slow burn with good mythology to it. I will absolutely be giving it another watch whenever I possibly can.
Run! It's Godzilla! It looks like Godzilla, but due to international copyright laws, it's not. Still, we should run like it is Godzilla! Though it isn't.
When it comes to the Godzilla franchise, this one stands out as the more unique film. Shin Godzilla came out in 2016, but showed in American theaters this August. And with this being in my top 3 Godzilla movies alongside -1 and Godzilla vs. Destroyer, and also making reparations to myself for not seeing Revenge of the Sith, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, I just had to go see it. If you did not know, this is a film that the Evangelion anime creator Hideaki Anno made about how flippantly the government treats national crises, prioritizing the economy and saving face as opposed to saving lives and taking action. What we as civilians just really hope that the government does not prioritize. I'm not a Japanese citizen, again, like I said, I'm American, so I may not be able to fully relate to the Japanese government corruption experiences, but, well, I think I can look on the news for 3 seconds and take a little bit away from it with my own personal experiences. And all of this is on top of pondering whether or not the nation of Japan in the movie will face yet another bombing from its own government. The story is very fast-paced and surprisingly in-depth. And that's not even talking about Godzilla itself for a second. I could go on about the design for days, but just look at it. Oh my god, it's just so cool. It is definitely one of the more unique designs alongside Ultima and the Godzilla 98 version, but god damn, I love it. It's a Godzilla that is in constant agony. It literally evolves over the course of the movie, and it's just trying to survive, only to be in more pain with each iteration. Those are not scales, those are burns, and god knows what other kinds of wounds. The entire upper body is stiff, stuck in place with little to no movement. The teeth are crooked, not able to consume anything, and seem to only be there as teratoma growths. Oh yeah, and there are humanoid Godzilla things spawning from its fucking tail, oh my god! And apparently, there may be a sequel in the works. Let's fucking go. Seeing all this on the big screen was just incredible. The Who Will Know sequence sent chills up and down my body. I went to the theater for a 2 p.m. showing and had been up since like 6:30 in the morning, which I'm not usually doing. So I was dead tired at this point. Certainly not being helped by the fact I was in a very dark room. What also didn't help the fact was there was a couple directly to my left who could have sat literally anywhere else in the theater, since there may be 5, 6 other people at the AMC laser seating that I had. So plenty of seats for them to choose. But nope, they had to sit directly next to me, which is not the worst theater experience I've had. I will get to that. Oh my god, I will get to that. It was strange, but they weren't loud, they weren't doing anything, so I can't really complain that much again, especially since I had worse experiences later on. Anyway, once Godzilla showed up, I locked the fuck in. I was wide awake. I was dozing off here and there, because I was so fucking tired. But once I saw the big-ass lizard fish creature thingy, neurons activated, locked the fuck in. I don't really go to anniversary showings. I was tempted to go see Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Saw and again Revenge of the Sith, but I don't really go to them that often. The only ones I've seen are, at least the ones I can remember, are Terminator and The Phantom Menace. It's always a good experience, but half the time I have the DVD or there are movies that I'd rather put my money to. Like this time around they were doing Jaws for the 50th anniversary, but I went to see Primitive War instead. Okay, I'm done talking about this movie. This is the one exception to the 2025 exclusivity thing. This movie came out in 2016. If you've not seen Shin Godzilla, please watch it. If you like kaiju movies, if you like political commentary, if you like Godzilla, watch it. Please. I love it. It's so good. I love it. Did you know I love Shin Godzilla?
Rounding the corner with a bunch of lesbians! Here we are, Manhattan! Can you handle it? Let's go, lesbians! Let's go, lesbians!
So, I walked out. This is the only movie that I ever walked out of. Not even an hour in. And we walked out. And I was excited to see this. I loved the whole, like, 70s, 60s vibe detective thriller. Chris Evans is a cult leader, stacked cast. It looked like such a fun movie, but it felt like I was watching a Wes Anderson style and budget porno. Perhaps the movie got better, but the plot was really all over the place, and there was just a barrage of uncomfortable sex scenes. I just didn't really understand what was going on. It felt like it was just going nowhere. And the introduction sequence, which lasted for like 2 minutes, it almost gave me a migraine. It was so disorienting. And I'm a found footage movie lover. I know disorienting cinematography. God. Yes, the movie was going on, and yet it didn't feel like it was. I just didn't enjoy the movie at all. Well, I did like the Chris Evans ranting about macaroni bit, but going from that to Aubrey Plaza fingering Margaret Qualley in the middle of a bar was jarring, to say the least. I can't really say anything more about the movie because I didn't finish it again, like 30-40 minutes in, and I'm not going to. I got nothing out of it. Ethan Coen did not cook with this, which, considering his track record with his brother Joel Coen, whew, damn. I mean, The Big Lebowski is one of my favorite movies of all time. I fucking love The Big Lebowski. but come on. There's some drama with his wife's involvement, but I don't really care, because I don't care about this movie, period. If horny detective comedy movies are your thing, neo-noir, buzzword, go watch it. I guess I'm not your dad. But, oh god, it's just not my thing at all.
So you're a killer? Sir, yes, sir! Let me see your war face!
Holy shit, this movie is actually peak. Non-stop action with some of the most realistic designs for dinosaurs in film. Oh my god, it's like if Predator and Dino Crisis had a baby. This movie feels like one of those arcade shooters like these I'm throwing up on the screen right now. I don't know what to specifically call them, but I always see these at arcades specifically for Alien and Terminator. Yes, I like this more than Jurassic World Rebirth, as much as it pains me to say, as a Jurassic fan. Now, this is a super low-budget action movie with mid-tier acting, but there's nothing wrong with a campy action movie every now and then. I love these kinds of movies. I love speed. I love Con Air. The story follows a recon mission in Vietnam to retrieve some missing Green Berets. They very, very quickly find out why they went missing and must survive both dinosaurs and Soviets in this abandoned valley. And when the action starts, it does not stop. Holy shit, and the sound design, on another level. And you know what else I loved? The dinosaurs. God, they look so good. They look so fucking good. Just look at them. Ignore the kind of shoddy CGI, because again, they're very low budget. But oh my god, they're so good looking. Holy shit. You just cannot beat that one scene where the T-Rex couple took down an entire Soviet encampment. Absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. I cannot compare it to the book because I haven't read it yet. But as a standalone, god, it's so fun. I need the DVD for it. I do have two gripes, one which is not the movie's fault. The movie nitpick was Jericho. Hate that bitch. Fuck you, Jericho. Hated his acting, hated everything. There's something wrong with his accent. I know a lot of southern accents. It just didn't feel that real good. And the other one, oh god. Okay, so, holy shit. I've had some interesting theater experiences this year, and I went to a, I think it was like a 10:40 showing at night, and it started pouring as soon as I got there, so already I was in a bit of a mood, but the lady to the right of me, oh my god, it was like sitting next to a Texans fan. Oh my god, it was so bad. She was burping and farting and just wouldn't stop making noises. She was on her phone literally the entire movie. Whenever she got the popcorn bucket, she would shake it around like iced coffee. Oh my god. And she kept looking over at me like I was doing something. Meanwhile, I was covering part of my peripheral vision so I couldn't see it. But I could still hear her. Oh my god. God, why? And the movie is almost 2.5 hours long, so I was dealing with that for nearly 2.5 hours. Genuinely unbearable. Anyway, movie fucking rocks. No further elaboration. If you love movies like Predator, Aliens, action creature features, or just love fun action movies like Speed and Con Air, I love this movie so much, or you just want a better action story than Rebirth gave you, give this a shot. It is so good. So much fun.
Don't fuck with me! I have the power of God and anime on my side!
Wait,
I did not realize this was coming out until I saw billboards for it by a Regal while I was traveling. So, I asked my friend who also loves Demon Slayer if she wanted to see it. The theater was packed, and it was a fucking phenomenal movie. I can understand people getting a little tired of the frequent breaks to the backstory exposition, but I really didn't mind it. It's Demon Slayer, there's going to be a lot of breaks for backstory, get used to it. One backstory in particular, Akaza, the upper 3 rank demon under the Michael Jackson demon, oh my god, it tore us apart. Oof, I almost started crying. I will admit I almost started crying. If it just weren't for one little thing, which I'll get to. Demon Slayer is not my favorite anime. I like it a lot, but I don't interact with it that much nowadays, especially in comparison to other series like Berserk, Death Note, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and recently with Freerun. I forget how dark this series is. And it just keeps getting darker by the movie and season. I'm pretty sure every single death, or almost every single death in this movie, was by suicide. Not to mention the sheer heartache of the backstories. Demon Slayer is a fairly simplistic series in the grand scheme of things, which a lot of people do criticize it for. Personally, I don't mind it, because the characters are enjoyable, engaging, the series is fun, and the animation, by God, it's so beautiful. It's simple, but engaging. I like it. This movie's phenomenal, though I think I still have Mugen Train and the Red Light District arc ever so slightly higher. I really don't know, because it's just by such a slim margin. Unfortunately, my experience was sullied by the actual worst theater experience ever. This is worse than Primitive War. Okay. So again, we got the late showing. I think it was like a 10:20 showing, I believe. And because it's Demon Slayer, a lot of the people there were young adults, which, that's fine, makes sense. It was a completely packed theater. There was not a single open seat for a 10:20 showing, which is kind of insane to me, but it's a very popular series, so it makes sense. And another important detail is we watched it in the dub instead of the sub. So that's going to come back, I promise. Let's see, from even before the movie started, there were people spilling their alcoholic beverages, people constantly walking in and out of the theater. We saw very young kids, which, considering how dark the series is, was a little concerning. And by little kids, I mean like 7-year-olds. There was an infant in there that cried a couple times as well. Not great. There are people that were very loudly criticizing the movie because it was in dub and therefore some of the dialogue was a little cringy. No shit. You picked the dub. You picked the dub. You had the choice of picking the sub, and yet you picked the dub. I'm sorry, that's on you, buddy. And also, if you do not realize that an anime dub is probably going to be a little cringy, especially a modern anime dub, that's on you. And especially, don't bitch about it. Don't fucking bitch about it in the middle of a movie theater. But that's not the worst part. And it wasn't all the people that were walking in and out constantly. It was the group of boys behind us. And by boys, I mean they're like maybe 19, 20, 21. They were early 20s, but they were acting like middle school boys. There was a group of maybe like 5 or 6 of them, and they had the seats directly behind us, and they were drinking. One of them may have pulled out some weed at some point, or an edible, I don't know. They spilled their drinks. They kept grabbing our seats, kept walking in and out of the row and the theater. They would not shut the fuck up. At least 2 of the guys were constantly yelling, especially when Zenitsu was on screen. Just would not shut the fuck up. And my friend said that she felt one of the guys' breath on her. God, I offered to get an attendant a couple times, and eventually my friend did get up to go to the bathroom and also to ask an attendant. But when the attendant came in, she popped her head around the corner once, and that was the only time during the movie the guys were silent. And then she did absolutely nothing, didn't hang around, nothing. Oh my fucking god. Oh, and also, they went on FaceTime twice. Twice they went on FaceTime, and also, they were taking flash pictures. Oh my fucking god. Okay, I'm fine, I'm normal, I'm fine. No, I'm not. I've been to the theater a lot this year. Not every single movie that I'm talking about here I saw in the theaters, but a majority of them are. And I've had a couple not so great experiences, like with Jurassic World Rebirth and Primitive War, but oh my fucking god! Oh my god! Oh! Why? What is wrong with you? So yeah, fuck all that. Not a fan of that. Good movie. We'll absolutely rewatch at some point, but god, I fucking hate people. I can't stand people who don't respect theater etiquette or just the people around them. So exhausting.
Huh? Wait, it's recording? Ah, shit! Hello, my name is Joel, and Captain Sprinkles invited me on here to talk about my experience, my opinions, and in general just rant about the fucked up night at the theaters while we were trying to watch Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. I do not know if he has said this yet, but spoilers ahead. If you haven't watched the movie yet, skip the section of the video, please and thank you. Are we good now? Great! Where should I start with? Oh. I guess I should talk about the assholes that sat around us while we attempted to watch the damn movie. Now, it was mainly the people behind us, but there was a lot of people in the theater who were being just disrespectful during the whole movie. There was like 3 or 4 boys that had sat behind us, and Jesus Christ, I wish my anxiety hadn't made me wait to go get assistance. I hate my anxiety so much. First of all, they were talking during the whole movie, especially during the more important parts that everyone else was so fucking silent for. It got worse about the fact that the guy had sat behind Sprinkles kept FaceTiming multiple times during the movie. Secondly, they kept fucking kicking our seats so hard. It was absolutely insane. And it wasn't even only us. The dude that was sitting on the other side of me got kicked as well. It was awful. I almost wanted to ask him if he was okay, because I know I was getting hurt from the back of my head. Thirdly, they were drinking and spilling said drinks onto the floor almost the whole movie. And I guess I was the only person who smelled it, but I know I smelled like drugs or something that was not technically legal. It was terrible, and I was extremely wanting to leave just from how overwhelmed I was feeling from that. During the movie, Sprinkles would type out on his phone multiple times, in fact, if I wanted to go get someone. And I admit, I was a bit of a pussy cat for not letting him going and getting a worker. But I guess I wanted to give him a chance because, well, they were also there to watch and enjoy the movie. But then not even 5 minutes later, my seat got kicked extra hard again, and I lost all hope in humanity at that point. So I told Sprinkles I was going, and I stood up and I walked down the steps and headed towards the main hall. Now, I didn't tell Sprinkles this until the movie was done and we went to his car. But right when I was getting up, the guy behind Sprinkles also stood up. My anxiety? Oh yeah, it was high, like super high, like, oh my god, there's a drunk guy behind me and I don't deal with drunk people, not like especially people I don't know. So I ran to the bathroom and I hid there for a minute or two, and then I peeked out and, well, I didn't see him, but, well, I think I saw him at least going into the men's bathroom. So I just decided to book it towards the nearest worker, and I got someone to check on our theater. Unfortunately, I think the guy found out what was happening because the worker came into the theater a few minutes after I did, and every time they would peek over the wall and just stare at the boys, they would go silent completely. The worker did this a couple times before just disappearing. I don't know if they actually left or not, but after 10 minutes later, the boys started doing what they were doing before. It really sucked. By the time I was considering getting up again to get a different worker, we heard the boys just pass out. Clearly very drunk. They were snoring, but it was like 10 times better than what they were doing before, so we kind of just dealt with it for the last 30 and 40 minutes that we had left of the movie. Is there anything else I can complain about the audience before getting to the movie? Oh, there was a bunch of little kids there. It was honestly super weird because one, all the kids I saw looked at most 10 and under. And two, it was midnight on a school night. Like, the movie didn't start until at least 11, and it didn't end until like 1 or 2 a.m. It was just kind of weird just seeing kids that late out. Oh, and every time Zenitsu or Nezuko was on screen, people would start the Nezuko thing. You know, the scream that Zenitsu does while chasing Nezuko? Yeah, that. In my opinion, it's disrespectful since his whole part in the movie had absolutely nothing to do with Nezuko. Also, Nezuko only appeared once in the movie. Again, she had nothing to do with his part at all. It just fucking pisses me off. Take a deep breath, Jewel. Take a deep breath. Okay, now finally to the movie itself. The movie was amazing. So amazing. The animation, the voice acting, the storytelling, all of it was absolutely beautiful. I know I said spoilers at the beginning, but I honestly don't want to spill anything, so people can just go watch the movie because it was absolutely magnificent. I will say, incredibly traumatized by the trauma. Like, if you watch this movie, make sure you have nothing planned to do afterwards for the next 2 or 3 hours, because it will make you freeze like you're an old computer that wants to update, but somehow the update is like too big for the device, if that makes sense. It was a lot, but it was amazing, but it was a lot. All the fights they shown was done so well. I mean, just a warning, I'm terrible at pronouncing these names, but Tanjiro and Giyu versus Akaza, Zenitsu versus Kaigaku. I'm terrible at saying his name. And, oh my god, Shinobu versus Doma. Oh my god, Shinobu. I knew you were going to die. I knew she was going to die. I knew the spoilers. But it hurt so much to watch in real life. And then her sister coming in at the end and watching her only family left getting absorbed. God, I never wanted to cry from a heartbreaking scream. That scream was paid good, I will tell you that. Oh, and seeing Akaza's backstory just killed me as well. But in all seriousness, hearing he killed like 70 people like that when he was just human was just absolutely insane, right? The man was ripping limbs apart and crushing skulls. It was fucked up. Seriously fucked up. The scene between Yashiro and Murata was also hilarious. Especially while Yashiro was bandaging up Zenitsu. I would have laughed more if we weren't in a movie theater and wasn't dealing with stupid drunk squad behind us. I think the only complaint I had was that Mitsuri's voice was like oddly high-pitched. It was kind of weird, and I'm wondering either she didn't remember what her voice was exactly, or she was trying to go overboard so she would get paid more during the movie. Both valid, but it was kind of weird. I think that's it. The movie was great. I highly recommend watching the anime and read the manga. Definitely plan on watching it again. Bye!
I'm tired of this, Grandpa! That's too damn bad!
So one week, my friend and we watched 2 movies 2 days in a row, and then I went a third day to see a movie by myself. So these next 3 films, I saw them sequentially. And I loved every single one of them. Some were better than others. Specifically, this one was the best. But I had a fun time. The Long Walk tore my goddamn heart open. Oh my god. Whew. I was not expecting to cry. But I was crying. I mean, you know what the plot's going to be. You know people are going to die. You know there's only going to be one person left. That's the whole plot. It's a battle royale type thing. But come on. So fun fact about The Long Walk, which gives it the perfect extra layer, the extra just thing to really punch you in the heart, and one of the main things that I was looking at during the movie, and also what also just really affected me, take a shot every time I say also, is Stephen King, who wrote the original novel. He wrote it when he was 19 years old, and it was about what he perceived the Vietnam War to be about. And when you go into the movie with that mindset, it's about as subtle as a brick to the face. It's right there. And it's just, it's fucking hurts, man. They might not step foot in a jungle for a second, but I think this might be my favorite Vietnam War movie. I love Full Metal Jacket. I love other pieces of the Vietnam War movies. But this one, oh my god. I adore it. I fucking love it. Just perfection. I genuinely don't have a single complaint about it. Actually, my friend, the friend that I saw it with, they said that their main complaint about the movie is diarrhea does not look like that, which, yeah. But that's a nitpick. It doesn't fucking matter. If you want a movie that'll rip your fucking heart out, or if you want a Vietnam War movie that it takes a different twist, give this a shot. It hurts though. Oh my god. Beautiful movie, very well acted, very, very well done. I adore it with every fiber of my being, and I need the DVD of it. That is probably my best way of showing praise to a movie, is saying I need the DVD of that so I can watch it anytime I want, which is going to be a lot. Long Walk, peak, perfection. Probably one of my favorite movies of the year. Actually, no, it is one of my favorite movies of the year.
Hey there, demons. It's me, your boy.
So I will say, I have not really seen many of the Conjuring movies. I've seen the first one. I've seen the Nun movies. And I've heard Conjuring 2 is really good. But other than that, I'm not really interested in the Conjuring series. To the point where I forget how incredible the first movie is. The first Conjuring movie by James Wan is so good. It's so good. It's genuinely terrifying. It is. I'm pretty hardened when it comes to horror movies. But oh my god, it was freaking me out. And I had lights on because I was drunk at the time. The Nun movies are just fun bad. And I don't want to watch The Devil Made Me Do It. I really don't. I don't want to watch the Annabelle movies. The only other Conjuring movie that I was really interested in was Conjuring 2 because I heard it was good. And then Conjuring Last Rites came out, and this is the friend that I went with favorite horror movie franchise. And I heard it was better than some of the previous Conjuring movies, but it had a very divisive existence, I guess I should say. People were saying that it prioritized the Warrens as opposed to the horror element of it. To which, yeah, they did, which it makes sense why. I'm not super upset about it, but I wish they included more of the demons, more of that. And also, our friendship ass ending, I understand why people might not like it, but personally, I think it's separating this entire thing from the actual legacy of the Warrens. It's fun. It's a good movie, and we actually have a supportive boyfriend character who says, okay, yeah, hey, girlfriend, you're mentally ill, you got these issues, but I got you, girly. I'm gonna take care of you. I like that. Personally, I give it a solid 3.5 out of 5. Because I did have a really good experience, and there were some really spooky moments in it. I did forget that jump scare horror can get me occasionally. It was a little underwhelming. I definitely agree with the sentiment that it was a bit anticlimactic. It was a good end, but they could have done just a little more with it. And that seems to be a trend with a lot of movies this year is they didn't go the length, they didn't go the distance. They could have gone just a little more and they would have been perfect. But it is a very good addition to the Conjuring franchise. As somebody who's seen 3, 2 of them are the Nun movies. So that's my uneducated take on it. I still think that the first Conjuring is easily one of the best possession haunted house movies. And this one, it's fun. It's enjoyable. You gotta go into it knowing it's a Conjuring movie, so yeah. Fun time, but I understand why it's not for everybody.
Who do you think you are? I am!
Oh boy, I'm gonna get tomatoes thrown at me for this one. I actually kind of like this movie. I'm aware it's not the greatest, but it's not the worst, and there are a lot of elements that I really liked. For one, let me start with the positives. I love how this film is shot. It looks like a music video. It looks so cool. I love every single shot in this movie. It is artistically just so gorgeous. Not to mention the performances. The performances are fucking phenomenal here. The main 2 characters are played by Tyreek Withers and Marlon Wayans. And yes, that is the same Marlon Wayans from White Chicks and Scary Movie. Yes, he did have some comedic bits in this movie. However, this isn't a situation like Chris Rock from Spiral from the Book of Saw. That is a mouthful and a half. Where he has a comedic background, but he just cannot, for the life of him, do a serious grizzled role. Or at least with the material he was given. I don't like Spiral. As a Saw fan, I don't like Spiral. I understand what people do. I'm getting off track here. Marlon Wayans did a phenomenal job. So did Tyreek Withers. So did everybody in this movie. Everybody did a phenomenal performance. Not to mention, it is just a unique idea in general. We've seen football and horror movies before, usually in the background for like a teen slasher. It's more of like a background thing. It was never really in the center stage. So having that be the center stage, the psychological abuse, the physical abuse of not only football, but the growing realization that he's in a fucking cult, it's really interesting. And the music, the sound design, everything about it is just so cool. Visually and artistically, it is a very enjoyable movie. And that's one of the main reasons, actually, if not the main reason, I really like the movie. However, there are a lot of huge flaws with this movie. It is, it's way too fast. It goes over the backstory of Tyreek Withers' character so quickly. Goodness gracious. The pacing was way too quick. I wish they would have elaborated on a lot more things. This movie is just over 90 minutes long, which is not nearly enough time to build up a bunch of other things. I think it sufficed enough, especially with Marlon Wayans' character, but it could have done a lot more, especially with building up the cult. Speaking of the cult, the last 15-20 minutes of the movie is very divisive. Some people really liked it, some people said it ruined the movie for them. It seems to be a real 50-50 on that. I don't mind it. I think if they built up the biblical themes significantly more, it would have been a harder impact. Aesthetically, it's very cool, and I'm down for a good bloodbath, but there could have been just a little more. Just like the rest of the movie, it could have been a little more in every single department. I completely understand why a lot of people did not like this movie. It's a football horror movie that could have gone more with the horror, could have had significantly more football rather than just training. They could have had an actual game where they put Tyreek Withers to use. I understand that might not have worked with the story that they went with. I think it would have been interesting if they had a full-on football game with the assistants instead of just taking it straight to the big leagues. I wish they'd done that, but alas, they didn't. There's a lot of things they didn't do in this movie that they could have. This is by no means the worst movie of the year. Come on, War of the Worlds came out. Honey, Don't came out, or I guess a lot of people actually like that movie. Never mind. War of the Worlds, yeah. That movie is objectively shit. This is a very divisive movie. I understand why. But from the artistic perspective, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm a decently casual football fan, so seeing more of the football aspect would have been awesome. I'm also a massive psychological horror fan, so seeing more of that would have also been awesome. But alas, it's okay with what it is. Not my favorite, but I certainly don't hate it. I love how it looks. And you know what? If there's cool stuff happening on the screen, to an extent, I can just turn off my brain. Did I just mean I turn off my brain for the movie? A little bit. But I still acknowledge all the other, like, deeper symbolism and all that other cinephile nerdy shit in the movie. I'm tired. I want to stop talking about this movie now. Divisive. I liked it. I understand people don't.
No, wait, hang on, stop, you don't want to do this. Listen, I've been a good boy, please. I've been such a good boy, don't do it, no!
Did you watch Skinamarink and thought, wow, this movie is boring as fuck. I like the idea, but it could have been significantly better. That's Good Boy, except with a dog instead of little kids. I am so glad this movie got a theatrical release. It immortalized this man and his dog being together for years. It is just heartwarming. This man and his dog, they created this, it's a simple movie, but they created this movie together over a few years, and it's just a really heartwarming story. I'm not a fan of dogs. I'm a cat. What do you expect? But it's really heartwarming to see this. And the movie itself, it's good. It's actually pretty good. I don't know how they got the dog to do all these facial expressions, to look terrified, worried, have that sense of loyalty, all of these emotions. I don't know how the fuck they did that. It's impressive, really. And how they go about the haunted house and the health effects that the guy is suffering from. It all comes together really well. It's a very short film. It's only about an hour, 13 minutes. It's about the same runtime as The Nightmare Before Christmas. And it did not overstay its welcome. It was paced perfectly. The mythology left me wanting more, but I thoroughly enjoyed what we had. And the dog didn't die. The dog didn't die. Thank God. I was mentally preparing the entire time. The dog didn't die, though. Very cute dog. All the dogs in this movie were so cute. I think there were only 2 or 3, but yeah. The camera work in this movie, it really puts you in the shoes, or I guess paws, of Indy. You are at the level of Indy. You're seeing everything from his perspective. There's very minimal shots of the guy's perspective. If I remember correctly, there's only like one scene with that, but the rest of the movie is from the dog's perspective. And it's so expertly well done. It's a really well done movie. I'm thoroughly impressed. And again, I'm so glad that it got a theatrical release and this man and his dog have been immortalized. Good on them. Great movie.
Who's that?
Yo, pick up the phone.
Oh boy, another divisive movie. Yay! I love so many of these are on this list. The Black Phone 2. It was a sequel that did not need to happen, which I see both sides agree on. The side that likes the movie, the side that doesn't like the movie, they can both agree. This sequel did not need to exist. But personally, I'm glad it does exist because it is so cool. It is so interesting. It builds upon the lore of the Grabber, Gwenny and Finney's mother, so many things. It does so much, and I love it all. I wish there could have been a little more of the Grabber, Finney, and Ernie, but other than that, I have no major complaints about this movie. Is it a little slow? Yeah, I can understand why people think it's too slow, but I'm used to slow movies, so I'm totally fine with that. And it's deliberate. And frankly, for a Blumhouse movie, this movie is sluggish. I'm so used to Blumhouse movies being so fucking fast-paced. This was a breath of fresh air. Another thing about this movie that some people seem to be divided on is the fact that it's focusing more on Gwenny rather than Finney. The first movie, it focused on Finney because he was the one that got grabbed by the grabber. Gwenny was a big part, but she was in the passenger seat. And in this movie, the roles have reversed. She's the main character, and Finney is now the passenger character. And I think that was the perfect choice because her dreams are the center stage of this movie. Half the movie is filmed in this old camera style. If you've seen the first movie and you see those pieces of memory where they use an old camera to signify it's an old memory or a dream. They do that a lot in this movie, which I was seeing in the trailers that they were doing it, and I was hoping that they would do plenty of it. They did more than enough of it. Holy shit. The grabber is Freddy Krueger, basically, and oh my god, it's so good. It is so good. I wish there was more of it again, but how it's executed is so well done. Not to mention the acting. Holy shit! Especially Madeline McGraw. She did such a good job in this movie. I almost started crying several times because her performance was so emotional. It was so visceral. God damn, I hope she wins an award. I know she's not going to because one, she's a girl, and two, she is in a horror movie. So the Oscars are not in her favor, unfortunately. But she better. She deserved a fucking award for this movie. She put her heart and soul into it. Everyone did, but especially her, which is a good thing because, this is basically her movie. I love all these dream sequences. There are so many awesome shots. Spoiler here, skip ahead 20 seconds if you don't want to hear it. Okay, good? Okay, so one of the final shots of the grabber is him being dragged down in the lake by the dead kids. Oh my god, that is such an unbelievably raw shot. Anyway, no more spoilers, except for the stuff that was in the trailer. In the trailer, you can see it. It's not a spoiler, okay? But that scene where the grabber basically fucking Beyblades Gwenny in the phone booth, cool as fuck. The scenes where, again, it's using the old camera, and anytime he's on screen with the old camera, holy shit, it's so cool. There's so many amazing shots in this movie. Did I mention the soundtrack? The fucking soundtrack in this movie is glorious. It is so well done, so eerie, so good. Everything about this movie is fucking fantastic. If you don't like this movie, I want to know why, aside from one, it follows Gwenny instead of Finney, and two, it's an unnecessary sequel. Yes, it's an unnecessary sequel, but it's one that is really fucking good, in my opinion. Again, these are all my opinions. You're welcome to disagree with me. I want to know why, because a lot of these movies that I like, some people don't like. A lot of movies I didn't like, people did like. I want to hear opinions. The Black Phone 2 is definitely a phenomenal sequel. Is it like Smile 2 or Shrek 2 level of great sequel? Debatable. Not really. No, it's not fucking debatable. It's not Smile 2 or Shrek 2 good, but it's still really, really good. I'm very much looking forward to seeing it again, and I want to get it on DVD. That is my stamp of approval. I want it on DVD.
I don't know!
When it comes to movies made by content creators, it is a very, very, very mixed bag. On one hand, you have movies like Talk to Me and Bring Her Back by, I'm not even going to try to pronounce their last names, but you know who I'm talking about. There's Skinamarink, which is not really my cup of tea because I'm literally watching paint dry, but I can appreciate the artistic value of it. And then you have movies like Airplane and those other Vine Star movies. I'm not even going to look up because I'm not having those memories in my head. I'm good. I don't need that today. Chris Stuckman is a YouTuber and movie critic who made a movie with Mike Flanagan, and that movie is Shelby Oaks. And let me tell you, the first 30-ish minutes of this movie, 20-30 minutes of this, holy shit, it was so fucking good. Honestly, it could have just been that as a short film. I would have stood up and cheered because I fucking love every single second of it. And I absolutely loved seeing creators, actual creators like Nightmind, Spooky Astronauts, Rainbot, Chills. Fucking Chills was in this movie. I loved seeing them do their little cameos in the beginning. And when I tell you, this first part of the movie was so powerful. Oh my god, it's just a sight to behold. The build-up, the payoff, the visual effects. I am somebody who absolutely loves found footage. and the found footage in this is actually good looking. I'm so sick and tired, side tangent here, I'm so sick and tired of found footage movies and the like looking like absolute shit because they do not know what the online sphere looks like. They don't know how cameras work and all that. But it looks so good here. It looks fucking fantastic. That being said, after that explosion of a build-up, it does slow down significantly and it slowly builds up. Kind of. Through the rest of the movie, you can very, very apparently see a lot of inspirations from other horror movies. Movies all the way from Rosemary's Baby to The Conjuring to Heretic, Hereditary, so on and so forth. There are a lot of inspirations behind this movie that kind of just mash together into this one piece. And I like it. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like it lacked that punch. That absolute punch to the face that the start had. It kind of lacked that. It was grotesque. It was icky. It was unsettling, especially with Tarion, Kaisarion, I don't know how to pronounce his name. That creepy fucker in the corner, ooh, freaked me out. In the beginning, I was nervous to see what he would look like. I thought he would just look goofy as hell, but he wound up looking awesome. I love his design so much. I love a lot of shots. I love the acting. There's a lot of really cool things in this movie. However, they could be better. They could be better implemented. They could have a lot more of a punch to it. There's a lot of great moments in this movie. However, it could have been just a little more of a gut punch. And I think that's the thing with having such a big shock moment in the first half hour. Unless you can make up for it later in the movie like in Hereditary, it kind of falls flat and it becomes underwhelming. It's still an enjoyable movie, but I can completely understand why this movie turns a lot of people off. Whether they want to call it a ripoff of other movies or just bland or something like that. Unfortunately, I can kind of understand. It was a fun movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I love seeing creators just bring their visions to life. Give Shelby Oaks a shot if you're not a fan of it. Understandable. But I will say, no matter what, that first half hour is going to get you. That was so fucking good. Loved it. I wish I could have loved it a little more, but for what it's worth, it was pretty good. Not bad at all.
Stay back, I got a chainsaw!
Chainsaw Man is the ultimate media literacy test. I'm not going to elaborate on that. Anyway, I love the movie. It was absolutely fantastic. This is one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I love the series, and I've been waiting for something since season 1 dropped a couple years ago, and by God was it worth the wait. Everything about this movie is just beautiful. Mappa Studios is a severely underpaid and, frankly, abused studio. They crank out these beautiful pieces of anime. They've cranked out series like Jujutsu Kaisen, Kakegurui, Yuri on Ice, the later seasons of Attack on Titan, and of course, Chainsaw Man. Something that Mappa always does with their works is they try to make it as accurate as possible to the source material. And with this movie, there's even a direct reference to the first cover of the first volume of the manga. It is beautiful. The story is pretty much beat for beat to the manga, so I'm not complaining there whatsoever. And the story is, if you're not familiar with Chainsaw Man, the Chainsaw Man himself, Denji, he's a bit confused. He's at a crossroads. On one hand, he loves Makima, the woman that's currently grooming her, well, one of 5 women grooming him at the moment. And he wants to ask her out on a date, ask her to be his girlfriend. But then this girl, Reze, comes along, and he's in peril. He wants to stay true to Makima, but he loves Reze. He is being treated well by her, all this, all that. It's not a romance, by the way. This is not a romance series. It is Denji getting his heart broken over and over again. And yes, if you're familiar with the manga, they did say the line, "Everyone is after the chainsaw's heart. What about Denji's heart?" They actually did it. They actually fucking did it. Absolute cinema right there. The animation is fucking stupendous. I will say they did use a little bit of rotoscoping. I'm not the biggest fan of rotoscoping. It's kind of ugly. I remember specifically back in I think it was 2020, where people were rotoscoping these dancing trends on TikTok and then putting the hairstyles of certain anime characters, specifically from Free or Boku no Hero Academia. Oh my god, and Haikyuu. Oof, flashbacks, and also the Akunohana anime. That was horrendous. It's been used for good, but at the same time, I have a lot of bad experiences with it. So seeing it here, it brought back some memories, but I think it was implemented well because it was largely with this one character who's supposed to be really creepy, really unsettling. It was used through the movie, but it was mostly evident with this one guy who's, again, supposed to be a massive creep. I don't know if it was a creative decision or if it was just a budget thing, but regardless, aside from that, the movie is just beautiful to look at, and they did it. They had the scene where Denji is riding on top of Beam. Absolute cinema. If you're a fan of the Chainsaw Man series, you are going to love this. If you're an anime-only person, whew, good luck. Good fucking luck. And if you have read the manga, you know what's coming next. You know the bullshit that's gonna go down. Oh god, I'm looking forward to it. And also, Dorohedoro Season 2, after 6-7 years. Don't take that out of context. I know, no, I retract that. Never mind. Fuck Dorohedoro. Anyway, I'm a sane individual. That's okay. Ignore all of that. Chainsaw Man, it was great. If you like the series, give it a shot. If you've never seen Chainsaw Man before, please watch the anime first or read the manga. It is great, but please have a goddamn brain. Denji's being groomed. Okay? Thank you.
Boss, look, an alien! Where? Ah!
Begonia is another one of the movies this year where I really had to sit down and think. I love this character study of not just Jesse Plemons, but Emma Stone and Aidan Delby's. I think I'm mispronouncing that. I also just love these grandiose moments of intensity. We become so familiar with the environment, with the ideas, that once it all comes to a head, we're like, holy shit. Nope, do not do that. Oh god, you did it. Oh no. And it starts to play these mind tricks on you. Maybe I'm stupid, but at least with me, it was playing mind tricks to where it's trying to convince you which one is correct. Is she really an alien? Is she not an alien? And this guy's just crazy. And then we also see the backstory for Jesse Plemons' character, which is frankly extremely tragic. Do I want to spoil the ending? Fuck it. And you know what? We're going to spoil the ending real quick, alright? If you haven't seen the movie, I do highly encourage watching it. It is a fun little thriller. I will say this is not a movie for everybody. It is a very slow and deliberate movie. It's this slow back and forth between Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone. And if you're not into that kind of movie, you're probably not going to like this. And if you do like this kind of movie, the ending... Alright, I'm going to spoil it now. Don't get mad at me. I'm spoiling it. This is your official thing. I'm spoiling it for the rest of the segment. If you don't want to hear it, move on. Are we good? I think we're good. So in the end, apparently Emma Stone is an alien. She is an Andromedan, which was a choice. It reminds me, it just purely by vibes, it reminds me a lot of the ending of The House That Jack Built. I guess spoilers for that too. Where he spends the last 10 minutes of the movie going through hell to reinforce the fact that, yes, he's been dead all along. Ooh, there's the plot twist right there. He's been dead all along. Some real Sixth Sense shit. And now he's going through hell. I don't know. Again, it's that slow, deliberate, artsy type thing with a lot of really strong, intense moments here and there. And then this ending that it doesn't feel out of place, but it's just out there. It's so bizarre. I think I'm okay with it. I will have to give the movie another watch at some point to see if I really like it, and to also watch it through that lens. I think viewing the movie through the lens of this is an alien that's manipulating Jesse Plemons, it's an interesting watch. Again, I have to rewatch it through that lens, but watching it through the lens that this is basically Dale Gribble gone crazy, and then his disabled cousin is just there for the ride, and this lady's just trying to get out away from all this stuff. That's what I went into the movie expecting. Maybe I didn't read enough into it, I don't know. But it just feels so weird depending on what idea you go into the movie with. I don't hate it. It is not the most disrespectful ending I've ever seen. Other than that, I did thoroughly enjoy the movie. I really, really liked it. I like artsy movies every now and then. There's some I cannot tolerate, but this is one that I had a good time with.
The real Frankenstein!
I just want to say I am a big fan of Guillermo del Toro's work. I love pretty much every single one of his movies. I love his style. I love his imagination. It is just a beauty to see on screen. Whether it's Hellboy or Shape of Water, what have you. I love seeing his vision. And his vision for Frankenstein, oh my god, it's just gorgeous. Remember when I said that I cried during The Long Walk? Yeah, I fucking sobbed during this movie. I cried multiple times. It has been so long since I cried multiple times during a movie. It is such a moving piece. And you already know what's happening. I already know what's going on. I read the book back in high school. I don't remember much of it, so I cannot attest to how accurate it is to the book. Though it is probably significantly more accurate than the classic, I think it's like 1930 something adaptation. The Universal classic, you know which one I'm talking about. It is just this beautiful storybook brought to life. The colors, the cinematography, the way the story is told, it's all so deliberate and beautiful. The acting is phenomenal. The set pieces are larger than life. And the emotion is just so strong. And not just with Jacob Elordi, but also with Oscar Isaac and Mia Goth and everyone involved. Also, holy shit, Christoph Waltz is in this? Hans Landa himself? Hello, okay, I wasn't expecting that. This movie is just so beautifully done. It's beautiful. That is the only word I can describe this movie with. Just beautiful. They really make you care for the creature. The creature is not this bumbling, murderous buffoon. It is deliberately structured so you know from the very beginning that this is a child. This is a brand new, brought to life creation. Well, maybe not brand new, it's used parts, but but still. He is experiencing the world for the first time. He's still learning. That's why he's considered a bumbling idiot, because he's new to the world. He's basically a newborn. But once he's given this nurturing chance, when this old man takes him into his care, he thrives. He becomes enriched in literature. He becomes this beautiful creature. But he is also exposed to violence from the very beginning and all throughout. All things come to violence. That is what his conclusion is. At the end of it all comes down to violence and murder. He wants to be free. He wants to love. He wants a companion. He wants kindness. But he will never achieve that because his creator doomed him. And above all, his creator loathes him, despises him with every fiber of his being. It is such a heartbreaking tale. And again, not just from the creature's perspective, but we also see it from Victor Frankenstein's perspective. So we have the bit of nuance. We have the unreliable narrator, and then we have the victim here. We have enough time from both sides to perfectly even out the story. My only issue with the film is that it does speed through some parts, but the movie's 2.5 hours long. I understand why they did it, and it's not to a major detriment. I just wish they could have elaborated a little more. I genuinely would not have minded if this movie was 4 hours long. I would have watched all of it, locked the fuck in, grabbed some snacks, grabbed a drink. I would have been there, and I would not have budged for those 4 hours. If you have not seen Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, watch it. It is one of the most beautiful movies this year.
You're my friend now. We're having soft tacos later.
this is the other Predator movie of the year, Predator Badlands. And I really liked it. I understand why people do not like it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I still have my nitpicks with it, but overall I had a really fun experience with it. Predator Badlands, it follows the story of a Yautja. This is the first time in the series we fully follow one of the Yautja, or Predator, if you will. And I am so here for it. I've been dying for Yautja lore. I've always wondered what a movie from the Yautja's perspective would be like, and this movie just, it's beautiful. It is so much fun, but, you can definitely tell that, there's a bit of Disneyfication here, if you will. I have seen that all around the internet, people saying this feels like a Disneyfication of the Predator franchise, and I see it. I unfortunately see it. But it's not terrible. It's not terrible at all. It's actually really fun. They have the marketable little guy. They have witty banter. They have the found family. And just the way the movie looks is very much like a modern Star Wars project. I mean, hell, even the music, it sounded like something maybe out of like The Mandalorian or something. The OST comes from two very, very, very incredible music artists, one of which has worked on The Lazarus Effect, multiple Assassin's Creed projects, the new Modern Warfare 2, and also recently Prey. The other one did Predator Killer of Killers, and I don't know, It, Chapters 1 and 2, and Welcome to Derry, which also came out this year, and a whole assload of other stuff that's really well known. Oh my god. Everything about this movie technically is so much fun. I absolutely love it. Again, it does suffer from feeling like, I don't know, a Star Wars project or a Marvel project from this year, but it's still very enjoyable. The character of Dek is an interesting look into the Yautja culture. He is a runt, and they make it very apparent, not just through dialogue, but also he's tiny. Comparing him to the other Yautja, he is just this little creature. He is adorable. And then it's stated later on that he is deformed, basically. He just has it fucking rough. His father hates him, tries to kill him, and then he's sent off to the Death Planet. He's just fucking going through it, and he wants to prove his worth. And he does. And also, found family, which I never would have expected from a Predator movie, especially one about the Yautja. I'm a sucker for found family, and I think it is very well done here, but it just feels so strange to call this a Predator movie when I'm saying all of this stuff. It is still fundamentally a Predator movie. This person or creature, it's launched into this unfamiliar environment and it's being hunted. And then at the end, it uses its brains to basically home alone it, and it works. Brains wins over brawn, which is, it goes all the way back to the very first Predator movie, which was the original kind of subversion of expectations for that movie. And it's tried to stay consistent through the years. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And in this one, it does work. But at the same time, because we are following a Yautja and the vibe is pretty different from the previous movies, especially considering this is PG-13, while a majority of the other Predator movies are rated R, it definitely feels weird, but again, I personally like it. I can understand why people don't. It's fun, and also, they bring in the alien universe with Weyland Yutani in the sense, I mean, the main girl, one of the Fanning girls, she's a synth. And one of the synths also becomes the bad guy, this and this. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's probably not for everybody, especially for older Predator fans. I can understand why they don't like it. But I had fun with it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And even if you haven't seen any of the previous Predator movies, you can watch this movie by itself, and it'll be totally fine. Just know that the rest of the movies are pretty different from this. Yes, there is a Marvel feel in the Predator from 2018, but that's because it's done by Shane Black. We don't talk about the movie. We do not talk about the movie, okay? We do not talk about it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. We'll definitely be watching it again.
Oh no, he's hot!
Have you ever wondered what a cross between Dread and Idiocracy will look like? Well, now we have that with 2025's The Running Man. Let me tell you, I was very surprised when I heard this movie was being done by Edgar Wright. If you don't know Edgar Wright, he's the guy behind Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim, Baby Driver, and Last Night in Soho. And seeing this lineup that he has, it was very shocking to say the least. Shaun of the Dead is my second favorite zombie movie of all time, right behind Train to Busan. I love his style, I love his dry British humor. I haven't seen Baby Driver or Last Night in Soho, so I don't know anything about those movies, but I thoroughly enjoy his comedic style. And from what I've seen in interviews, he's very passionate about The Running Man as a story. But I definitely have to agree with people that this doesn't quite feel like an Edgar Wright film. I see glimpses of it with the cinematography and some of the humor, but overall it doesn't quite feel like his style. It's a fun movie, do not get me wrong for a second. It is non-stop action. The comedy is on point. It is just such a joy to watch with so many charismatic figures on screen at all points. Are there a lot of ex machinas? Are there a lot of plot conveniences? And does it rush through things? Yes, absolutely. But frankly, out of all the possible critiques I could have of a movie, they could ultimately be worse. And there have been worse this year. So many people are upset about the fact that this does not feel like an Edgar Wright film. And do I think it diminishes the entire value of the movie? It honestly depends on the person. Trying to put this into the perspective of another director that I absolutely love, my favorite director actually, Robert Eggers. If instead of making a historical piece with these grim themes and gothic supernaturality to it, he turned out to be the director behind the Outlast movie or something like that. If he did something like Grave Encounters or Gonjam Haunted Asylum, something along those lines, I would be very confused, and I would definitely say this does not feel like Robert Eggers. But would I be frustrated if it's a good movie? Not as much. Definitely not as much. I can empathize with the people that are upset. However, I still think it's a very enjoyable movie. And I do see glimpses of Edgar Wright in this. People who say this movie is completely devoid of his style. I don't know if we watched the same movie, but I still saw a lot of the similar camera work and humor that he uses in other movies. Now, how does it hold up to the original 1987 film with Arnold Schwarzenegger or the original novel by Stephen King? I don't fucking know. I haven't seen either of them. But from what I've heard, it follows more of the book rather than the previous movie. And it was really nice to see a sort of cameo of Arnold in this movie as he's on the money. It's definitely a fun movie whether or not you're familiar with Edgar Wright's style or the original book or the movie. It's just a fun flick all around. I had a damn good time with it, though I was the only one in my theater that was watching it. I don't know if it's because I go to a very deserted theater or what happened, but the emptiness was just so sad. Absolute blast of a movie. If you like action movies, you absolutely need to give this a shot. If you like Edgar Wright films, I keep wanting to say Robert Eggers. If you give this movie a shot, you'll probably like it, but it definitely is a far cry to what he's most known for. Okay, so I'm a bit of a dumbass and I completely forgot that I watched these two shows. That's why I'm adding them a little later. And also, if I try to add them where they're supposed to be in the timeline, I'm pretty sure my PC's going to explode into fucking flames. So, I apologize about that, but here we are. Here's 2 more bonus entries. Please enjoy.
Pizza time.
Even after all these months, I still have no idea how to feel about the Devil May Cry anime. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of really good elements to this. There's a lot of things that really feel like it's in the original Devil May Cry universe, but the overall setting and tone of a lot of things really takes me out of it. I know it's supposed to be like an AU or whatever, but it just doesn't feel entirely like Devil May Cry. In my eyes, what is fundamentally Devil May Cry's vibe? Berserk Eclipse type setting. Everything is drenched in this magenta purplish color. These towns are destroyed. The people are either in cults or turning into these weird ass monsters. It feels like Castlevania just gone off the deep end. I love the vibe of the games. And even as the main character Dante evolves through the games, the general setting feels the same. We do not have that in the 2025 Devil May Cry adaptation. Dare I say this feels more like Invincible rather than anything else. And it's not just the visual setting and where the story is taking place. It's also some of the characters, namely Lady. I am not a fan of how they did Lady in this. She feels like she was written by Viv Kpop, and I mean that in the most derogatory sense. She's saying fuck every 3 words, and that's coming from somebody who cusses like a sailor. So if I'm saying somebody's cussing too much, we have a problem here, okay? And she feels like a far cry from what her character is in the games. Yes, she's stubborn. Yes, she's rebelling. However, this is just not her character. Maybe I'm misinterpreting her character from the games, but this just doesn't feel right whatsoever. And again, the general vibe of this, it feels so weird. Yes, the games have evolved to an extent. The first 2 games, Dante was more serious, more stoic. He was still cracking jokes like Leon Kennedy, but it still wasn't as comedic as 3 and onward. This is not the first Devil May Cry adaptation. We had one back in 2009, which is more of a gothic anime. That one definitely follows more of the 1 and 2 formula, while this one follows 3, 4, and 5. And I do like that they are going more toward the modern Dante interpretation, as that is the one that fans seem to like more. And fun fact, the voice actor for Dante in this is the voice actor for Nero in the games. The music in this is fucking fantastic and can definitely be recycled for Shadow the Hedgehog. I'm pretty sure this anime single-handedly brought back Limp Bizkit from the dead. And God bless, we need new metal back in our lives. Another thing about this that I thoroughly enjoy is the villain. The White Rabbit, whatever you want to call him. It's been a while since I've seen it. Again, I am recording this in November. This came out back in March. He absolutely works as a villain. There have been this wide array of bizarre villains through the series, whether it's mini-bosses or overarching villains. I cannot get out of my head that weird jester Mark Hamill sounding goober from, I think it's Devil May Cry 2. He's just such a memorable menace to society. And even throughout the series, there's so many memorable villains, and this one fits in perfectly. But again, we loop back to the general vibe of the series, just how it looks, to where I have to find these little nitpicks, these little cracks in every other aspect. And it all leads back to just how it looks. Again, it looks like Invincible. Maybe I'm crazy here, but it feels like Invincible. And I mean no discredit to Invincible, I love that show. But this is just, it doesn't feel right. And the animation is very so-so. Sometimes it looks fucking fantastic, and again, it's what you'd expect from Devil May Cry anime. But there's some other ones where it just looks ugly as sin. Ooh. It's not X-Arm bad, but it's still kinda bad at times. All in all, the show is very hit or miss, at least for me. If you're not familiar with the Devil May Cry series, you'll probably enjoy this significantly more. And if you are familiar with the series, it'll definitely be 50-50 for you. You'll either love it, hate it, or you'll be somewhere in the middle like me. Well, I guess it's not 50-50, but you know what I mean.
That boy ain't right.
You know, Netflix can actually put out some bangers sometimes. The Devil May Cry anime was a Netflix original, but this was the fucking banger of the year. Granted, I'm saying this before, literally one day before Stranger Things season 5 comes out, but this Adolescence just fucking broke me, man. It's only 4 episodes long. Each episode is a little bit over an hour, or a little under, I don't remember. But it was around the hour mark, and oh my god, it fucking broke me. The story follows a boy, the family, and the detectives surrounding the case of the boy murdering a girl. And why did he murder the girl? Because he fell down some alt-right, black pill, manosphere rabbit holes. And he was led to believe that women are just creatures. These soulless, just disgusting creatures. The things that people like Andrew Tate spewed out. It is a show that's meant to spark conversation about toxic masculinity and these pipelines that a lot of young boys have fallen down. We haven't seen the full effects of it yet, though there are a lot of young streamers and the like that are popping up here and there that you can tell they watch a lot of shitty people growing up. And they're like maybe 12, 13, and they're spewing this disgusting rhetoric about women, about minorities, about people in general. The acting in this show is just a godsend. Both the little boy and the father, who was actually the director of the show. I can't remember if he was just the director, if he was the writer. He had a major hand in the show. He was the father. And the final moment in this show, which I won't say what it is, oh my god, I was crying. I was fucking crying, man. And one of the main things about this show that really got people talking about it was the fact that each episode was one shot. It was just an hour glimpse into these people's lives. And it is just so brilliantly well done. And it's so effective. You're only in 1 hour of these people's lives. And just 1 hour is all it fucking takes. And each episode has a different tone, it follows a different group of people, and it does it so effectively, so expertly. If you somehow haven't seen Adolescence, I highly implore you to. Not only is it just a really well-crafted show on the technical perspective, but it's meant to spark conversation about a very serious issue when it comes to the online sphere and how it's affecting our youth. It's not meant to be the end-all be-all perspective on this topic, but it's meant to get people talking, not about the show, about the topic itself. And for that, I think it did a pretty darn good job. Absolutely fantastic show. Give it a watch if you haven't already.
And as you can see, I am not dead!
As of recording this, there are 3 movies that I saw in theaters twice this year. Bring Her Back, Predator Badlands, and Sisu Road to Revenge. The second time I watched Sisu Road to Revenge was with my dad. He loves the first Sisu movie, and he was up at where I live, so I said, you know what, I'm going to take you to see it. And he loved it so much. I loved it, and I got to see more things, which is why I'm recording it again. Let's talk about Sisu Road to Revenge. This is the sequel to the 2022 film Sisu, which follows Atsumi, a Finnish former commander who just refuses to fucking die. He is basically immortal, literally too angry to die, which is one of my favorite tropes in fiction. And just the action in this movie is fucking brutal. The first movie, brutal. This one, holy shit. Not to mention, it's almost Tarantino-esque with a lot of comedic bits. I mean, there's a tank that jumps over a Soviet border. It works, though. That's the thing. This all works. It all just comes together into this unique piece of fiction. In the first movie, Atsumi was being confronted by the Nazis for some menial shit, and in this one, he's being confronted by an old enemy of his, Yegor Dragunov, which I totally pronounced incorrectly, who's played by Stephen Lang, who you may know from the Avatar movies. And I will say right off the bat, I think the performance and just the mere presence of Dragunov could have been a little better. It feels very corny, which, yes, both of the movies are kind of corny action movies, but he felt extra corny. They could have done a little more to expand him, could have rounded out his character a little more, but he's fine for what he is. I do like what he stands for. I like that this is not just a revenge film, but through the first good while of the movie, Atsumi is just trying to survive. He takes no pleasure in trying to kill them. That's why with the chapter titles, it's just perfectly normal yellow color, but once he's pissed, it turns red. He's enraged, he's looking to kill. The rest of the movie, you could tell he's scared. You could tell he doesn't want to do this. And I did not pick up on that during my first watch of the movie, but he's like shaking. You can see the fear in his eyes. He may be immortal. He may be this extremely intelligent soldier, but he's terrified. He does not want to fight until Dragunov pisses him off. And that is when, for the first time in all the movies, the titles become blood red. It's such a minor detail, but that's the beauty of the series. The minor details in the acting, in the cinematography, in just everything. And another beautiful part about the Sisu movies is that they're really show don't tell. When they do tell, it's a lot of exposition, but there's such little talking in both of the movies. They just let the action and the acting speak for itself. Between both movies, Atsumi says one sentence, which is roughly, I want to make a deposit. That's pretty much the only thing he's ever said between these two movies. He doesn't say a single word in this movie, but you can see all the emotion in his eyes. The acting from, I can't even pronounce his name, is fucking stellar. And let's go back to the action real quick because Jesus Christ. Like I said, it's very Tarantino-esque, where it's just so over the top, so gory, so brutal, but oddly comedic. It is just such a fun watch. I absolutely adore this movie so much. It feels rushed at times. It feels very fast-paced, which, yes, it's an action movie. There should be a lot of fast-paced moments, but it was a little too fast-paced. It just went through things a little too quickly, which I don't mind, but I would have loved more because there's so much to the character of Atsumi, to the story. There's so much that can be done, but they don't really expand upon it. It is low budget, yes, and it's just doing what it needs to do and then fucking off. But I just would have liked a little bit more, especially from Dragunov and his connection to Atsumi. They do a great job of connecting the two, but again, I just would have liked a little more from Stephen Lang's character. Other than that, if you love action movies, you will fucking love Sisu. And oh my god, last thing about this one, the ending tears my fucking heart out. Oh my lord, if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I'm leaving that all up to you. I know I've spoiled things in this video already, but this is just special. It's so special. I'm just going to say it's a very similar reason as to why I adore the first Rambo and not really any of the other Rambo movies. It is such a beautiful yet heartbreaking scene, and it just really goes to show the depth that they give Atsumi without giving him a single line of dialogue in this movie. Again, this is such a show don't tell movie, and it is stellar at that job. Again, if you love action, give this movie a shot, please. It's fucking fantastic. Watch the first one first, of course. Give the Sisu movies a shot. It is just absolutely stupendous what they did.
You crying? What's that? Are you crying? Am I crying? No, I'm not crying. You're crying.
So for the next couple segments, I deeply apologize. My nose is plugged up to the high heavens. I'm sick. The weather's been beating my ass. Anyway, as you can see through this video, through all the movies that I've seen, there's a resounding pattern of horror, action, thriller, fun, flashy stuff, so you may be a little surprised to see a movie like Rental Family on this list. And I enjoyed it. I think there's a lot of pretty big flaws. I think because it is structured as a movie instead of a show, again, going back to Mickey 17, it has a similar issue where all these stories would work perfectly as episodes with one overarching narrative. However, as one standalone movie, it doesn't quite work, at least for me. Brendan Fraser is a phenomenal fucking actor. He's just absolutely stupendous. He is the reason I couldn't even get halfway through The Whale. That movie, oh my god, he's a great actor, and I'm familiar with the plot of this movie. I know about the rental family and just general renting people out, for lack of a better term, industry in Japan. I know a lot of weird stuff about Japan. Don't ask. Don't ask. So seeing that concept mixed with Brendan Fraser, who I absolutely love, I figured, hey, let's give it a shot. Also, I hadn't been to the movie theaters in a good minute, and I wanted to go back, but it wasn't time for me to go see FNAF 2 or Jujutsu Kaisen yet, so we're gonna go see Rental Family. Let's see how it goes. A little change of pace, okay? And the reason I say it should have been a show instead of a movie is it does tackle multiple different stories all at once, which you can do in a movie. It can absolutely be done. But if I remember correctly, the movie's only like 90-ish minutes long, hour 45 maybe. And it doesn't quite do enough to develop the main story. It does a fucking amazing job at the story between Brendan Fraser and the old actor Kiguel, but the main story, or overarching one at least, which is the one with Brendan Fraser and the little girl Mia, it is, in my opinion, severely underdeveloped. I'm very glad that they did so much with Kiguel and also exploring these other people and their lives and how much his assistance is really helping these people out. And the storyline with Kiguel was just fucking fantastic. Not the artist, the character in this movie. But again, it all comes at the cost of the overarching story. The first case, which I won't spoil, it was a good twist, and I loved it. I was hooked from then on. And it's a really good movie all throughout. It just suffers from a little bit of that pacing issue, and it just doesn't develop certain things that I wanted to develop. Perhaps I'm a little blind here, perhaps I'm missing something, because I feel like this movie would connect for other people better than it did for me, but that is entirely up to you. It's a movie that would work for some people better than it does for others. It worked for me, but I think it works even better for others. I think if it just tweaked these technical flaws just a little bit, if it was a longer movie at the very least, so it could expand upon the main story and maybe explore other characters more, it would have been perfect. Also, this movie was predictable, which, honestly, I'm not too upset about. It had a great emotional build-up, and I thoroughly appreciated that. You can have a predictable movie so long as you surpass the expectations in some way, or at the very least, if you make it worth it. Like, I knew pretty much the majority of this movie. I expected pretty much everything, and yet it still hurt. It was still a knife to the heart. It was still fantastic. And it's truly impressive to have a predictable movie that still hits you in the feels. All around, it is a pretty damn good movie. I just wish they did a little bit more to it. Overall, it's a fantastic movie. I just wish they did a little more with it, especially that main story, or if they broke it up into episodes. If you haven't seen it and you like movies like The Terminal and such, basically any Tom Hanks feel-good movie, I think you will thoroughly enjoy this movie.
I was just wondering if you wanted to hang out with me and smoke weed and fill our bellies with diet soda and play Burnout Revenge for the PS2.
So they definitely had a budget increase, and it fucking shows. I really like Smiling Friends. It's definitely my top 3 Adult Swim shows alongside Bob's Burgers and King of the Hill. I thoroughly enjoy it, even though there's so few episodes. I love them all. And this year we got a few more episodes, and all of them are fucking fantastic. First thing of note, the animation has gotten so much better. It already had really good animation, but there are 2 really standout episodes, at least for me. The first one is the Halloween episode, which I think is my favorite. I mean, take a guess why. It is genuinely fucking horrifying. Genuinely just so ew. They also had Pyramid Head. Love Pyramid Head. Hell yeah. Not in that way. I must clarify. Not in that way. Which also had really good voice acting. The body horror. Jesus Christ. That episode was just intense. You can also see it in the episode Squim's Return, which has this segment that's like 2 minutes long. Charlie trips balls, for lack of a better term. And oh my god, I've watched this scene so many fucking times. It's genuinely so beautiful, so well done, so just... Oh, and there are so many moments like this through this season, and all of them just blow me away. The animators on this series are so talented, so good. For what is, for lack of a better term, just a shitpost series. It's really good, don't get me wrong. But it feels like a shitpost series. It feels like something I just watch on YouTube for shits and giggles. Also, lore. We've gotten a lot of lore this season. I don't think this was previously mentioned during the series, but apparently this is taking place in Pennsylvania. We also learned some of the origins of the Smiling Friends company, and Mr. Boss, and Glep. Glep has his own episode. A Glepisode, if you will. More on Alan and his relationship with the boss. A heavy emphasis on relationship. And the ultimate question is, was it funny? Yes. It was very funny. I think the weakest episode for me was probably the Mr. Frog episode, the second episode. It's still a really good episode, but for me it's like the Brazil episode, where it works. It's just I prefer the other episodes significantly more. I'm very much looking forward to season 4. Whatever they have in store, this season was fucking fantastic, and if they continue to have this good of a budget, this spectacular animation, I am so here for it.
Was that the bite of 87?
Uh-oh. We're on this segment. Ooh, okay. I have a lot of thoughts on this movie. Now, before I tell you any of my thoughts on it, I want to give you my background when it comes to Five Nights at Freddy's. I am a veteran of the series. I have been here since day 1. I've been here from the fucking beginning. I'm going to give you 2 words for any of you sleeper agents out there. Alright, ready? Vincent Bishop. Yeah, I just triggered something in you. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is my most anticipated movie of the year, and I was fully ready to put this at my number 1 on my ranking. And unfortunately, it's not. It's not. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I have a lot of issues with this movie. Don't get me wrong, I love this movie. I enjoy the fuck out of this movie. This movie was not made for the critics, it is explicitly made for the fans, which I fully respect. We have our niche, and we are a juggernaut of a fandom, so it's fine. It works out in the end, we benefit, and we have a good time with it. But, I cannot overlook the technical flaws of this movie. There's so many, and when it goes to the story, it just starts pissing me off, kinda. So, let's start with the positives. Let's start with the good stuff, good news before the bad news, alright? The animatronics are so good looking. They look amazing. Holy shit. I was losing my goddamn mind every single time one of them was on the screen. Just fucking beautiful. I adore them so much. And also, Megan Fox Toy Chica, stupendous. She got a lot of screen time. I loved it. I think she may have been my favorite character of the movie. And that's coming from somebody who loves William Afton so much. He's my favorite character ever. I love him. He's great. Not in a weird way, though. Okay. So that was really good. And there were a lot more scares in this movie than there were in the last one, which unfortunately, I'll get to that. I'll fucking get to that. And I like how they developed specifically Abby. Abby's development is really, really good. And they're also developing more of the story. The story and the world feels more expanded. They're genuinely expanding out more this town, the story, the mystery between the murders and the relationship between Vanessa, Mike, and Abby. These animatronics, the kids. For the most part, they do a really good job of building up these characters. Though I fear Vanessa is kind of getting snubbed. She is a really interesting character. I love Elizabeth Lail. She's doing a really good job. And her character is really, really interesting. However, I don't know if I like what they're doing with her. I like that she's being haunted by her father. Perfect. I love that. That works incredibly well. Also, Matthew Lillard. I can pronounce his name. Yes, I can English. Yep. But there are other things, which again, I'll get to. We're still on the positives. This is going to be a bit of a long segment, probably. The music was great. And the whole school fair thing, that was awesome. I loved everything that happened at the school. That was so much fun. And the beginning with sort of a tease on the missing children's incident, and then we get to the murder of Charlotte Emily. Not a spoiler. If you know Five Nights at Freddy's, you know it's going to fucking happen. It was so well done. It was absolutely incredible. There's a lot of really good Easter eggs as well, and I generally just had a really fun time with it. Now we gotta get to the bad. Oh no. No. God, why is it not perfect? Why is my Freddy Fazbear movie not cinematic perfection? Okay, okay, so let's start with my main issue. The story. Yeah. Who'd have thunk Five Nights at Freddy's can't do a straight line story? Who'd have thunk? I had hope because the first movie, they were generally streamlined. It had its mystery, as it should, but it just, this one. There's a lot of stuff that they introduce, but they don't really follow through with because of the ending. I'll get to that, I'll fucking get to that. They're introducing a lot of things to these characters, and one central character who I fucking hate. Okay. Let me tell you about this mystery character. I'm not going to spoil anything, or I'm going to spoil as little as humanly possible because this movie is still fresh. By the time this video releases, it's still going to be very fresh. A lot of people probably haven't seen it, so I'm not going to spoil anything about it. But there's this one character, this one twist character, who they execute so so badly, and his acting is shit. I hate him. I fucking hate him. I'm sorry. I like the idea of the character. I think it introduces a really good monkey wrench into the situation. However, this acting, the way he was introduced is so bad. It's so bad. Oh my god, ooh, it's not good. It's not good. The scares, they could have done more. There could have been more action. I was expecting way more action. I wasn't expecting a bloodbath akin to The Evil Dead or anything like that. But I was expecting more chaos. I know it's a low-budget Blumhouse movie. However, just a little more action, please, for the next one. More action, I am begging you. Please, 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 please. And I would have liked for more jump scares, more time within the FNAF 2 office space. Though in the office space there was a really, really good cameo / Easter egg that I was genuinely not expecting. That was awesome. But oh my god, the story, it's so all over the place. The acting's kind of all over the place. And a character that I was really looking forward to seeing, Henry, played by Skeet Ulrich. Love him. Love Matthew Lillard. I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry. They did not have enough screen time. I think they should have done a little bit more with Matthew last name, but they absolutely did so little with Skeet Ulrich as Henry. I know that is technically true to the games. Henry didn't really make his grand appearance in the games until the, I don't know what installment, but it's FNAF 6, even though there's like multiple games and just spliced between there, like AR and there's no AR came after. FNAF World, Frame Space, all that shit. He has one fucking scene in the entire movie. You're joking. You're fucking joking. I was kind of let down by this movie. There's a lot of really good things to it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it was a bit of a letdown. I was promised more action, more scares, more development, and I really wanted to see some interaction with Henry and William. I really, really wanted that. And again, that twist pissed me off. And the ending, I'm so confused. They're really, really leaning into the storytelling of the games, which I don't think I like. This was our one chance in the entirety of Five Nights at Freddy's history to get a streamlined, just fairly simplistic, not extremely convoluted plot, story, all that. But it got funky, it got weird. Also, speaking of, what's the deal with the Marionette's new powers, which I will not disclose because it's kind of a spoiler. I don't know if I like it or not. It's interesting, but every single time it happens, I just think of Megan. I just think of the robot AI girl thingy, which I did like the movie, but I don't think I should be thinking about Megan in this movie. The only Megan I should be thinking of is Megan Fox as Toy Chica. Not in a weird way. Not in a weird way. I must clarify, not in a weird way, I promise. Another thing about this movie that kind of pisses me off, it does a similar thing that Terrifier 3 does, but Terrifier 3 can get away with it because the story makes up for it, and the cliffhanger it doesn't piss me off. The cliffhanger of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 pisses me off. It makes me so angry. What do you mean? The mid-credits was the best thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. I got so excited. I'm genuinely so excited. That is my favorite character. I love him. It's awesome. Holy shit. As soon as the guys showed up, I lost my fucking mind. And they played It's Been So Long, absolute cinema. But I'm kind of pissed about this movie. Again, there's a lot of really good things. Specifically, if you are a Five Nights at Freddy's fan. If you do not know anything about the games, or you know very little about the games, you're probably not going to like this movie. I'm disappointed, but I still had a really good time with it. Am I coping? Yes. Hardcore. I'm hardcore coping. And I'm still going to get the DVD for the movie, absolutely. And I'm going to rewatch it a million times, just like I have with the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I have the DVD. I'm surprised I haven't worn it out yet. I love wojacking at the screen for over 90 minutes and going, holy shit, it's the Thing. Oh my god, that's so cool. That's the thing. I just wish they'd done more, and I hope that the third movie, which I don't know if it's going to be the last one, I hope to God they do more. I hope they listen to all the criticism and make it border on rated R. Please, I'm begging you, make it scarier, like genuinely scarier. Make the story a little better, get the acting a little bit more in line, and please, for the love of God, bring Henry and William together. Please, for the love of God. I'm not a Wilry shipper, but for the love of God, please have them interact. They are very important characters that need to interact together at some point. I was expecting a flashback with them. We didn't get that. Please, in the next movie, I'm begging you, they listened to the criticisms from the first movie and implemented fixes for this movie. And I hope they do the same for the next one. All around, I had a good time with it, but oh my god, there's so many flaws, there's so many issues. I can ignore a lot of the issues when it comes to the first movie, but this one, it's so in your face, so much of a letdown. But I gotta glaze the movie, I'm sorry, it's Freddy Fazbear, alright? If 8-year-old me saw these movies, I'd lose my mind. I'd lose my shit. In a good way, and I still do. I still thoroughly enjoy these movies. Alright. That's enough about me blabbering about Freddy Fazbear. Moving on.
Stop! He's already dead!
So when it comes to movies, I try my best to avoid spoilers. I try to avoid the trailers as much as I can. I'll watch like maybe one trailer, and then I'm done. I try to avoid everything I possibly can, and I think for Jujutsu Kaisen Execution, I think that kind of fucked me over. Because I went into the movie thinking, oh, this is a whole new movie. This is going to be what happens after the Shibuya incident. Well, lo and behold, half the fucking movie was a recap. And then the rest of the movie was supposed to be a preview of the next couple episodes for Season 3. And I didn't get to see a good portion of the those episodes because I had to leave for health reasons. Anyway, I think between that and just having this completely jarring experience, going from this stitched together recap of the Shibuya incident, and then go straight to the new episodes, it just didn't work for me. One of the main positives about this movie I will give it is I got to see Mahito get his ass beat again. I fucking hate Mahito. He's a really good character. I love his design. His voice actor is incredible. But I hate him. I fucking hate him. There are a lot of other characters in manga, specifically manga, and some anime that I also hate, like Griffith from Berserk. But oh my god, I hate Mahito so much. I fucking hate him. So I stuck around to see him get his ass beat. Also, the animation. Incredible. It's MAPPA. What do you expect? Music was stupendous. It was a good experience. But again, I didn't fully know what I was getting into, so my expectations were completely different. And it just felt so jarring. Going from the stitched together recap of Season 2, specifically the Shibuya incident fights, and then seeing all these characters that I love die and all that stuff. And then going all the way over to the new season, it felt so weird. It just didn't work for me. I understand how it can work for other people. It just didn't really work for me. I think it would have been perfectly fine if I just stuck to the Shibuya incident and then went straight to Season 3, which I think I will do whenever Season 3 of Jujutsu Kaisen drops, which I'm assuming is next year. I don't know. I don't keep up with anime as much as I used to. For what it's worth, it's good. It's really well done, and I'm never going to get upset watching anything MAPPA related. But it was very disorienting. And again, I couldn't sit through the entire thing because it didn't work with me, and again, I was having some health issues. So, also, who the fuck brought a baby? I'm not talking about a toddler. There's also a toddler there. Who brought a baby? Itty bitty infant baby to see Jujutsu Kaisen, the Shibuya incident execution. It's so weird to me, especially because this series is very, very violent. And the kid was crying. The baby was crying. And the toddler was too. The toddler was making a racket, but hey, is what it is. I also got my hands on the Predator Badlands Yautja bucket. Hell yeah. I now have Deck's head in my apartment, so that's awesome sauce.
I'm a gift the fox, I guess.
I was not planning on watching Zootopia 2. I'm not a big fan of a lot of modern things that Disney is doing. I think after the whole Goosebumps show on Disney Plus, and also just a whole bunch of other things, Star Wars, the live action remakes, my interest in Disney movies, despite growing up with all these old movies, my interest has just completely tanked. But my brother wanted to see this movie, so I took him to see it, and it is actually really fucking good. First of all, this is a very gorgeous looking movie. It's Disney, so they have an infinite budget basically, and every single environment looks like it's straight out of a concept art portfolio. Each biome is just so beautiful to look at. It's insane. The voice acting is absolutely spectacular, and I don't remember the name of the horse guy, but he's voiced by Kronk. I love Kronk. Hell yeah, Emperor's New Groove, one of my favorites. And I think the highlights of this movie are the story and the characters, as they should be. They develop Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps' relationship pretty well. They have that third climax breakup, but they get back together, and it's a good ride. It's a very enjoyable to see ride. Like, all these comments that they're making at each other, it does truly impact them. It impacts their friendship. And oh my god, the mystery, the whole Linksley, I think that's their names, the Lynx family, their shenanigans, really well done. The mystery of this old reptile town, absolutely spectacular. It is genuinely a really well done mystery. I did see the plot twist kind of coming, so make of that what you will. It's not as bad as, I think her name is Merryweather? Bellwether? I think her name's Bellwether, I don't remember. But at least to me, it's so predictable. But it's a kid's movie. It's going to be a little predictable, and for a kid's movie, it is fucking spectacular movie. It expands upon the themes of racism, the government not being trustworthy, and also being vulnerable to your friends. Explaining to the people in your lives why you do things, being just emotionally there for others, it's a really good message. At times it can feel a bit redundant toward the first movie, but all around it is a very well done plot. It is a very well done expansion upon the characters. Comedy almost entirely was on point. They expand upon the lore of the world very, very well. And I will say, I think the part of the movie that kind of threw me for a loop out of absolutely everything that they could have was the amount of Disney self-insert product placement. I don't know how else to describe it. It makes sense why there would be references to other movies that Disney owns or Disney made, and also Disney Plus. But there was just something so strange about seeing the Disney Plus HUD in a Disney movie. Also, maybe I'm stupid, but why was Alien renamed to Platypus? Is it because the platypus is a really fucking weird creature? I don't know. It felt weird to me, but it's Disney. It could have been worse. It could have been so much fucking worse. All around, this is genuinely a really good movie. I don't really know what else to say about it aside from it's a good mystery. Is it Seven? Is it Prisoners? Is it one of these iconic masterpiece of detective thrillers? No, it's fucking Zootopia. But if you have kids or you have little cousins or you just like old Disney movies, but you've lost that spark like I have, give this movie a shot. It's actually pretty fucking good, I will say. There's a certain genre of films that just feel like childhood. Whether it's like a dream you had as a kid, or your vivid imagination going wild, or the fears you had as a child. There are movies that just encapsulate that perfectly. Where the Wild Things Are, Judy Moody and the Not Bummer Summer, Neverending Story, Dark Crystal, a bunch of these movies. And I think Dust Bunny does an interesting take on this. All I knew about this movie going into it was the general plot synopsis and Mads Mikkelsen. I love Mads Mikkelsen. He's awesome. And he does a fan-fucking-tastic job in this. This film feels very, very strange. It feels very dreamlike. But not like in a soft way, but in like there's vivid colors here, crazy patterns here. It almost feels like a Dr. Seuss movie. The design of each room, each character, is so interesting, so dreamlike. It is just so spectacularly well done. Now, the plot itself is very, very strange, and the way it goes about things is even weirder. This little girl has a monster under her bed, and Mads Mikkelsen is apparently an assassin or a mercenary of some kind. So she offers him money to kill the monster under her bed. There's a bunch of FBI things, the mob, a whole bunch of weird shit. And when I say this movie's weird, I mean it is so weird. I had no idea where it was going or what it was trying to do for the first 15 minutes. But once I got fully immersed into the world, I just kept falling further and further down the rabbit hole. Pun only partially intended. This is just such a unique looking film. There's a lot of wacky shit that happens here. I mean, for Christ's sake, at the end, there's a lady that has Bayonetta heels, guns as the actual heel itself, and the rabbit itself, the dust bunny, is so weird looking. Such an interesting creature. There's so many questions that I'm left with, but honestly, I don't mind not having answers to any of them. Because, again, it feels like a child's dream, a child's story. But I will say this movie is shockingly gruesome. This movie is rated R, and through the entire movie, I'm just trying to put my finger on why is this movie rated R? Is there going to be some sort of Terrifier type bloodbath going on? And then we get to where they actually reveal the Dust Bunny fully, and I thought, yep, that's why. Okay. I see it. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. This film is absolutely not for everybody. This is for a certain kind of crowd. It's not artsy in the typical A24 way, but it's not fully a kid's movie either. It is just a strange movie all around. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. There's absolutely no in between, and I love it. Again, I feel like it perfectly captures the essence of a child's story. It feels like Where the Wild Things Are just gone off the fucking wall. I love movies that have this dreamlike vibe to it. My favorite horror movie is Jacob's Ladder. And that is, pun fully intended here, very dreamlike. It's very surreal, and same goes for Silent Hill, Phantasm, a bunch of other projects. And it's such a difficult vibe to fully capture, especially with the added effect in this movie being from a child's imagination, from a child's perspective. It sounds like I'm spouting nonsense, but if you watch the movie, you're going to know exactly what I mean. It is a very difficult to describe movie. Even if you say everything that happens in the movie, you're still going to have people looking at you like, huh, what? I had a good time with it, but I totally understand why people might not. It's a film that just bends everything around it. I genuinely don't know how to describe this movie aside from dreamlike. Give it a shot if you're into these kinds of movies. If you don't like it, understandable. And if you do like it, you're gonna fucking love it.
Garbage Day!
And coming in as our second to last entry, we have Silent Night, Deadly Night. The revamp, requel, reimagining, remake, something. And I'm just gonna say, I've only seen the first two Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. Holiday slashers are such an enigma when it comes to horror movies. A lot of them are complete and utter shit, like the Leprechaun movies, Jack Frost, Thanksgiving. There's a bunch of movies like that, but there's also a lot of really good ones, like My Bloody Valentine, Black Christmas, and of course, Silent Night, Deadly Night. The first movie is iconic and also rough around the edges. It's not aged well in the acting department. It is very horribly acted. And the second movie, oh my god, it's somehow worse. But they still remain as absolute classics in the slasher subgenre. Now, this is actually not the first Silent Night, Deadly Night remake. I'm just going to call it a remake. It's basically a remake like the Fede Alvarez Evil Dead is a remake. It's somewhere in that ballpark. There was actually one back in, I think it was 2012, I want to say. Haven't seen that. No idea what that's about. But this one, it's very different from the original Silent Night, Deadly Night. When it comes to slasher remakes, they tend to go way, way, way off course. We have Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, which I believed the 2009 Friday the 13th is better than the original two. Fight me. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what have you. There's a bunch of different reimaginings of these classic slashers, and 9 times out of 10, they're not good. But this is pretty good. It is very much a far cry from what the original is. It still has the fundamentals, but the film itself is very, very different from the original. We still get a bit of Billy's backstory. We get to see the reason why he went kind of crazy, except he didn't really go crazy, which I'll get to that. We see the car hijacking, his mom and dad getting killed. There was no little brother, like in the original film, which led to the second movie. And we didn't get to see him in the orphanage all that much. We saw him in the orphanage for like 2 minutes. And even then, it was technically foster home, not a Catholic orphanage. And the motivation for Billy going on his killing sprees, it's very different from the original. Again, I haven't seen the remake. Maybe it's more of the remake. I don't know. Haven't seen it. But comparing it to the original one from 1984, this one it's very different. The motivation in this is not that he went completely fucking insane, like in the first movie, through the repeated trauma of the murders of his parents, being at the Catholic orphanage, this and that, whole lot of bullshit happening, then him just snapping one day. No, this one, it gets right into the fucking action of it. Once it's done with the initial backstory, it just goes straight to the fucking action. We don't get to see him fully tilt over the edge. He's already on this killing spree, which I was a little disappointed by, but the style, oh my god, the style in which this movie operates, I will also get to that. But I am kind of conflicted about the fact that this Billy has a different kind of motivation. I think it's still good. I think it's still a decent reimagining, and maybe this is a subplot in, or the main plot in 3, 4, and 5. Again, I ain't got a fucking clue. But it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I think it is really interesting, really well done. I don't know. I think I just prefer the motivation and the descent into madness from the first movie. But let's talk about why this movie fucking rocks. This movie gets absolutely fucking wild. And whatever camera they use to film this movie with, I'm pretty sure it's the same one that they use in Terrifier 3 to give it just not fully that grindhouse effect like in the first movie, but still it just looks so gritty, so gross. And that absolutely works perfectly with this. The original Silent Night Deadly Night is so grimy. It is just so gross looking because of the camera they used. And of course also the kills and the gore and all that stuff, which in this movie, there was honestly less than I expected. There's still a good amount, but there was a little less than I expected, honestly. The kills are pretty fucking badass, though I will say. There's a scene that I was aware of going into it, and that was Billy winding up in a room full of Nazis dressed up as Santa, and him fucking massacring them all. Beautiful. Absolute cinema. I am never going to be upset about seeing Nazis get killed. Is it kind of goofy? Yeah, a little bit. A lot of it. Very, very kind of goofy. Is this entire movie goofy? Not to the extent of Silent Deadly Night 2, but it's still kind of goofy, I will say. But oh my god, it is such a good time. I think my favorite part of this movie is the editing, the cinematography, the way this film just looks. There are these flashes, like flash forward, flashbacks that Billy gets, and these chapter titles almost, kind of similar to what they do in Sisu. It's so cool. I love little things like that. It gives the movie so much personality, and I love a movie with personality. How you feel about the ending and the romance, it's going to vary from person to person. I think it works decently well. I think the ending is a little bit anticlimactic. I don't know. It feels a little off, but still, the ride there is a damn good one. Will I be watching it every December alongside Terrifier 3 and Black Christmas? Yes, actually. I think I will. I'm going to put it behind Gremlins. Gremlins and Home Alone 1 and 2 are always my go-tos when it comes to Christmas movies. But I think this is a pretty solid addition to the Christmas holiday slasher subgenre. That's like a subgenre within a subgenre. And yet it's so expansive. There's so many Christmas slashers, it's kind of crazy. I don't know the name of half of them, honestly. But it's still a good movie. If you like the first movie, give it a shot. It's very different, but there's still a lot of really good stuff. It could have had a little more of that grindhouse effect. If you like the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, I've probably said that horribly, like the last 5 times I've said it. You're probably going to have mixed feelings about this movie, especially if you're a diehard fan, but I'm not, and I still had a good time with it. I think it's a really good reimagining. Also, they said Garbage Day. Oh my god, he said the thing. Garbage Day. Absolute cinema.
I want that twink obliterated!
Last but not least, our final entry on this list is Twisted Wonderland. I'm just going to say this right off the bat. I am not the most familiar with the original mobile game, and I am also not the most familiar with the manga that this is more specifically based off of. This is basically a fandom in law for me. I'm familiar with the characters, how they act, and I consume quite a bit of the stuff, but I'm not overly familiar with the original stories. So I was filled in by somebody who knows the series very well, and according to her, by the way, that's Joel from earlier on, this is a pretty good adaptation of the manga. But first, what is Twisted Wonderland? Because it is a very interesting series, and I mean that in the best way humanly possible. Twisted Wonderland, it takes these old Disney villains like Hades, Ursula, Queen of Hearts, Scar, and a couple of others, and turns them into these icons to be revered by this magical world. And yes, it is an isekai. It is, in fact, an isekai. And the main character winds up in this world through Truck-kun. I mean, you can never go wrong with Truck-kun when it comes to isekai. He winds up in an all-boys school, and different characters are based off of different villains. Malleus is based off of Maleficent. Rook Hunt is based off the Hunter from Sleeping Beauty. So on and so forth. There's a bunch of different characters, all very well designed because the designs were done by the same artist who also did Black Butler. There's a total of 7 houses, and the one that is focused on in this part is Hearts Libule, which is based off of Queen of Hearts and Alice in Wonderland. And let me tell you, this show fucking rocks. I don't have to worry about unnecessary fan service, which is just an absolute godsend when it comes to anime. The characters are incredibly fun. I watched this in dub, and the dub cast is fucking stacked. You got the usual ones like Alejandro Saab, Kellen Goff, Matthew fucking Mercer is in this. You know, the dub voice of Majima and Leon Kennedy in the Resident Evil remakes. And countless others. Oh yeah, also J. Michael Tatum. Haven't heard his voice in a while. And also he voiced Sebastian in Black Butler. I'm getting a lot of fucking flashbacks to Black Butler. Ugh. And the voice acting in this is just absolutely spectacular. Every character has so much personality, almost entirely in thanks to the voice actors. For 8 episodes, everything is very well done. It is rushed, yes, and I've been told that there have been a lot of things that have been cut out, which I think for next season they should absolutely make it at least 12 episodes, because 8 episodes is not enough. Again, I'm not the most familiar with the original manga, nor the game, but 8 episodes for 4 volumes of manga is kind of crazy. And personally, I don't think it was that much of a detriment. Again, they could have built up these characters a lot more, but it's not as egregious as in Kpop Demon Hunters, where you can definitely tell they cut out an immense amount of stuff. Another thing about this is the animation. The animation and the art style is just fucking fantastic. It is so beautiful to look at. All these vibrant colors, this unique style that says this is the identity of the series. It's very whimsical. There is definitely a lot of Disney charm in it. It is just spectacular to look at. In the beginning, when Yuken is brought into this world, animation, spectacular, good lord. And then at the end with the Overblot, which was heartbreaking to say the least, the animation yet again was fantastic. And for such detailed characters, they don't really cut any corners. Even when they use CGI, the CGI is really good and stylized. CGI in 2D anime is very, very controversial. And even with 3D exclusive series like Dorohedoro, it can still be kind of controversial. 3D CGI has been used for a bunch of 2D anime, even some of my favorites like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and plenty of others, and it is very well done here because it is stylized. It is a very short anime. Again, it's only 8 episodes, which is absolutely tragic. But the next season is in the works, and it'll be following Savannah Claw, which is basically the Lion King section. There's a lot of good heart, good comedy, good characterization in this anime. If you like older Disney movies and you also like anime, I think you might really enjoy this. Every single character design, every single characterization, the animation, I highly encourage watching it in dub, which I do not recommend that often. Everything about this anime is such a joy to watch. Is that it? Oh, no, there's a few more movies, but I don't care. I'm getting this video out. We can feign like 20, 30 more minutes. I don't need to review The Housemaid or No Other Choice or the finale to Stranger Things. That's a later problem. This video's long enough as it's over 3 fucking hours long. Jesus Christ. I fully went into this expecting it would be like 2.5 hours max. This video is longer than Oppenheimer. This video is longer than Avengers Endgame. God fucking almighty, I'm sorry. All in all, it has been a fan-fucking-tastic year for movies. There have been a lot of stinkers, I will say. There's been a lot of stuff that just wasn't really that good, or stuff that I just wasn't interested in. And the category of things I wasn't interested in, it varies a lot. I didn't want to see F1, but I heard it was really, really good. And I wasn't really keen on watching the new Wicked movie. I heard it was good enough. And also, there's just some actual shit that's dropped this year that I just didn't want to watch. And there were some movies that I did want to watch that I just didn't get around to watching. And some of those movies are The Ugly Stepsister, Ballerina, Nobody 2, Screamboat, Together, and a few others. And there's also some shows. Quick honorable mention to Alien Earth. I watched like an episode or 2 of it. It was pretty good, but I just didn't get around to finishing it. That's why I don't actually have it on here. And also another honorable mention to Stranger Things Chapter 5. I watched the first 4 episodes. It's good, but oh my god, this dialogue is going to be the death of me. But I do enjoy it, and I know for a goddamn fact they're going to kill off Dustin. I'm going to eat my words. They're going to kill Dustin, my favorite character. Anyway, it's been a fan-fucking-tastic year. There have been so many movies that I thoroughly enjoyed. So, let's rank all the shows and movies that I watched this year. You've heard me yap about these movies for the last 3 hours, so I'm not going to dive into any of the details of this ranking. We're just going to speed through this. Number 45, starting off at the bottom of the list, we have Honey Don't. Then going up, we have number 44, The Monkey. 43, Wolfman. 42, Happy Gilmore 2. 41, a Minecraft movie. At number 40, we have Mickey 17. 39, The Conjuring Last Rites. 38, The Accountant 2. 37, Him. Way higher than a lot of people probably have on their list, but I've thoroughly enjoyed the visuals of it. Okay, I'm done. I'm moving on. Number 36, Hard Eyes. 35, Shelby Oaks. 34, The Devil May Cry anime. Number 33, Jujutsu Kaisen Execution Shibuya Incident X The Calling Game Begins. That was a fucking mouthful. 32, and I hate that it's so low, but it could be lower, Jurassic World Rebirth. Number 31, and again, probably is lower than a lot of people have it on their list, 28 Years Later. Cracking on further into the list, we have Novocaine. At 29, we have Good Boy. 28, Rental Family. 27, Final Destination Bloodlines. And this is where we start getting into the stuff I absolutely fucking love. 26, Begonia. Number 25, Dust Bunny. Number 24, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Number 23, Weapons, which is, again, something that's probably a lot lower on my list than a lot of others. Number 22, The Running Man. I want to put it up higher, but from here on, the bar is just so high. Everything is so close together in my mind. Number 21, Kpop Demon Hunters. And then moving into the top 20, we have Zootopia 2. At number 19, Companion. Number 18, Predator Killer of Killers. That is still so hard for me to say. At number 17, Smiling Friends Season 3. At number 16, Bring Her Back. Number 15, Twisted Wonderland. Number 14, by a slim margin, King of the Hill Season 14. At number 13, and this is definitely higher on my list than it is for a lot of others, Black Phone 2. Number 12, and it kills my soul that this is not number 1, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. At number 11, Primitive War. Then moving into the top 10 of the year. This is an unfair placement because it didn't even come out this year. Shin Godzilla. Number 9, Sisu Road to Revenge. Number 8, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. Number 7, Chainsaw Man The Reze Arc. At number 6, Adolescence. In the top 5, we have Superman at number 5, Predator Badlands at number 4, The Long Walk at number 3, and oh, this is gonna have me beheaded in front of all my loved ones. At number 2, Sinners. And at number 1, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. I feel like my list is gonna get me harassed for sure. I'm gonna be bullied to hell for it, but it's my list. It's my opinions. If you disagree with them, you're more than welcome to tell me in a polite way. Don't be an asshole, alright? And our last thing before I get onto the actual final outro, we have the movies I am most anticipating for next year. And we're going to start off with Iron Lung because I already got my ticket for it. And when I got my ticket for it, the theater was almost completely full for all the hours. Some of the ones that I'm really looking forward to are All You Need Is Kill, Mortal Kombat 2, Night Patrol, Psycho Killer, Obsession, The Backrooms, which I know it's become a brain rot thing, but I was there when Kane Pixels released his first video about The Backrooms, and it was so fucking cool. He's got some real talent, I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with it. The Mortuary Assistant, there's a lot of video game stuff coming out, which is really interesting. On that front, we have Zach Krager's Resident Evil, which I'm really wondering what they're going to do with that. I think they'll do a fantastic job with it, given how Zach Krager usually does his movies, but oh, I am so interested in that. And finally, Gore Verbinski's new movie, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. I love Gore Verbinski. I grew up with his movies. It's going to be so fucking peak. I know the plot is kind of interesting, but I don't care. It's Gore Verbinski. And though I have not caught up with Marvel, I'm really looking forward to Avengers Doomsday and Spider-Man Brand New Day. Then we have Cold Storage, purely because it has Joe Keery in it. I love Joe Keery, and apparently Liam Neeson is in it as well. The Bride with Maggie Gyllenhaal and Christian Bale. Clayface, a fucking horror movie with Clayface. I remember watching Batman the Animated Series and seeing how terrifying Clayface is in that, and I always thought, okay, that needs to be a body horror movie. That needs to be a scary movie. And it's finally happening. Then we have the 7th installment in the Scream franchise. Okay, I love the Scream movies. I don't dislike any of them, not even 3. I like the 3rd one, okay? And I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with it, especially since Matthew Lillard is coming back for it. Then we have Return to Silent Hill, and rest assured, I'm making a fucking video on this, okay? That is a promise. Then we have 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, Terrifier 4, Send Help, which is Sam Raimi's new movie, and then my most anticipated movie of the year, Robert Eggers' Werewolf. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with this goddamn video, okay? If you managed to stick around for this long, thank you. You're awesome. You are incredible. I know this video is so long. I did not expect it to be this long. I genuinely did not. I'm not doing this shit again next year. I'm going to do just a ranking and talk about this shit briefly. I'll make little reviews of these movies as they come out, maybe if I feel like it. But oh my god. This is crazy. I'm not... Oh, I may have gone insane doing this. But that's okay. This is all a learning experience. I do apologize for the shitty audio at times. My microphone's weird. The software I'm using to record my audio on is also really fucking weird. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this really, and I cannot stress this enough, really long video. It's not as long as the average FNAF lore video, but it is. Oh boy. And that will be my last video of the year. I know I haven't uploaded in months. This is why, okay? This is why I have not uploaded since, what was it, July? June? When did Jurassic World Rebirth come out? I'll be significantly more active next year for sure. I want to do Return to Silent Hill and maybe the finale to Stranger Things, since I'll be watching that in the theaters. We'll see how that goes. No promises on that front, but definitely for a Return to Silent Hill because I have a lot of thoughts on it, and I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with it. By the way, I am also now a Letterboxd bro. Feel free to check out my horrible opinions. I'll leave the link in the description below. Check it out. I have really bad opinions on things, so feel free to check it out if you want to. Anyway, that's enough for me. Enough of my blabbering. You've already heard over 3 hours of it. I hope y'all have a wonderful holiday season, a great New Year's, and I will see you in January. Y'all take care.